one corner, Joey Gallo. This Las Vegas slugger is known to deliver some of the longest home runs in the game today.
And that ball's hit well. Gone!
Demolishing baseballs with a power punch. In the other corner, Chris Davis. This Californian has landed plenty of haymakers against the Rangers.
Into the seats. And Davis has just hit a two-run homer.
Showing off his heavy hands.
Chris Davis, that one is gone.
This home run duel is a heavyweight title bout.
Rangers baseball is presented by Shiner Sea Salt and Lime Summer Lager. Doesn't that sound good tonight? A warm one this evening here at Globe Life Park. Oh, there he is. Chris Davis, all he's done is homer in his last 5 games against the Rangers, helping them to a win last night. But Joey Gallo, he's known to knock a few out himself, and he'll anchor things today for the Rangers. 3rd game of this 4-game series. Welcome in, everybody. Great to be here. I'm Dave Raymond alongside CJ Nikowski. Normal broadcast tonight. No tricks, no shenanigans. We promise just straight baseball. The Rangers hoping that baseball turns back into their favor. It has not been kind in the first couple of games of this series, but that said, one guy in particular, Elvis Andrus, has knocked off a couple of nice landmarks.
And it's been really good to see for Elvis. Of course, he missed a lot of time with that right elbow injury, and since he's gotten off the DL, he struggled to kind of find his groove. Now, he's hit some balls hard. He's had some bad luck along the way. Well, that seems to be turning now. We saw him get his 15th 100th hit during this 6-game hit streak, but also the big one, his first career grand slam last night, also a career high 5 RBIs from the Ranger shortstop. So as I mentioned, a little bit of a rough go of it as of late, but it does appear now after the All-Star break that Elvis is starting to get some breaks of his own.
Okay, well, you referenced his right elbow injury earlier this year, cost him 2 months on the disabled list. Well, another guy who had a little trouble with his right elbow earlier this year, who's going to be a very important character in this one today, and that is Martin Perez.
So many expectations for Martin Perez coming into this season. It was unfortunate that he had to go on the DL. Obviously, the elbow was bothering him, and it's important now that he kind of gets it going. The Rangers gave him the first start after the All-Star break because they want to see as much of Martin Perez as they possibly can in the second half. And Martin now will be making his 3rd start since coming off the DL, and he's been very good against the Oakland A's over his last 3 starts here at Globe Life Park, and they're going to need him because right now the Oakland A's are swinging some really hot bats. They've done some damage against Ranger pitching. Somebody needs to step up and stop it.
Okay, so hopefully Martin is that guy tonight as we highlight a couple of more seasoned players involved in this tilt tonight. We also should look ahead to some of the young guys coming up. There are a lot of them, and they all play key roles on this team. And we'll put those Rangers youth in the spotlight with Emily Jones when we come back. Rangers baseball is sponsored by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Ford is the best in Texas. By Shiner Sea Salt and Lime Summer Lager. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency.
foe, Oakland, and your Texas Rangers coming your way here at Globe Life Park in Arlington. And no team sets out to have a youth movement or a so-called rebuilding phase, but after the struggles to start the 2018 season for this Texas Rangers team, it's evident that here in the second half, that is what it's about, evaluating the young talent that this team has both here and at the lower levels. And because of that, we are seeing guys that have spent a significant amount of time in the minor leagues at the big league level. Guys like Willie Calhoun, who will be in the lineup tonight. We find the Shiner box sea salt and lime spotlight highlighting those 25-year-old and younger players. There you see those that will be in the lineup tonight. Second, fifth, sixth, eighth, and ninth in the batting order. So scattered within that batting order from top to bottom, and we're getting a chance to see exactly what these guys have playing on a regular basis. And there, when you take a look at the numbers of games played by players 25 and younger, it's not even close. The Rangers leading the pack with 632 games thus far. That number will continue to grow as the season progresses. Jeff Bannister says it's not just a youth movement or a player development process, it's also teaching these guys what it takes to win at this level. And though the results haven't quite come just yet, they're hoping that they will the more time that these guys get on the big league diamond.
Only helps, and we've seen it year after year. It happens with a number of teams, and I can certainly say firsthand experience with a team a little bit south of here. It wasn't that long ago when they were going through a similar process, trying to get a little bit better, and they won the World Series last year. Let's take a look at the starting lineup tonight, beginning with the Oakland A's. 59 wins, 43 losses, and only 7.5 back in the division. Really remarkable run for this team. Marcus Semien leads off at short. Chad Pinder in left field, Jed Lowry at second base. Then it's nemesis Chris Davis as the DH batting cleanup. Olson, Piscotty, Chapman, Mark Canha in center, and Josh Fagley gets the start today back behind home plate. That's the lineup that Martin Perez will see. Perez making his 8th start of the year. 2 wins, 4 losses, and an ERA of over 8.05. And a lot of the damage to his earned run average was done in the month of April. He made 5 starts in April, then went to the disabled list, only to return on July 14th. So this is just his 3rd start since coming back. He gets us started with a pitch off the plate for ball 1 to Marcus Semien. 100 degrees at game time. This ball lashed over third. That's a base hit. So Semien with extra bases to start the game. Wraps out the double. His 24th of the year.
Let's take a look at the Shiner Sea Salt and Lime Summer Lager pitch arsenal for Martin Perez. The 2-seam fastball is what Martin is all about. Heavy usage. The changeup is the first secondary offering. You will also see some 4-seam fastballs, curveballs, and sliders as well. Not nearly as much, although the curveball has been a very good pitch for him. Just a 167 batting average against Martin Perez's bender this year. That's slang for curveball.
Ooh. High pop-up out into right field. Gallo angling a little bit toward the line, makes the catch. Semien tags. He's going to try for third, and he will get in there safely. 1 away.
Take a look at the Rangers defense, which is delivered to you by Methodist Health Systems. Willie Calhoun, Carlos Tocci, and you just saw Joey Gallo out in right field. In the infield this evening for the Rangers, at third base, it's Adrian Beltre, Elvis Andrews at short. Ruben Odor is at second. Jurickson Profar getting the start at first, and Robinson Chirinos will be catching Martin Perez this evening.
Robinson, after getting a day off yesterday, he's back there in the squat today in this 100-degree temperatures. Infield drawn in with Jed Lowry at the plate. Switch hitting second baseman bats at the right side and takes one low and in.
So do you feel like you're getting used to the heat? I mean, I'm a little surprised. We had 107. We've had 108. I'm not going to say that it feels cool, but it doesn't feel as bad. A day game on Sunday.
That was bad.
That was a little rough.
Yeah, this is This isn't bothering me too much here tonight. This is okay. Pitch a little bit in. 2-0. Lowry 3 for 9 in this series, has driven in 3 runs. He's also walked a couple times, so he's been on base a good amount in the first couple of games of this series. The A's have put up some pretty crooked numbers in the first 2 games of this series, and Lowry takes again in the dirt. Well, Jed Lowry, first nearly 50 games of the season, was as hot as anybody in baseball. Now since then, it's come back down to earth just a little bit. Still pretty decent numbers overall.
And still having a really good year. Last year was a fantastic year for Jed Lowry, a guy that hits a lot of doubles, and that pace is very similar this year. Oh yeah.
Oh, lines out to the ball girl down the left field line.
That is your Rangers defense, brought to you by Methodist Healthcare System. What a play right here. Guess who's going to be in the lineup, defensive lineup tomorrow? My favorite part about that was, like, yeah, I mean, I'm blowing a bubble and catching line drives and protecting security guards. That's what I'm doing down here. That's unbelievable.
Our good buddy Jerry back there right behind her. He's comfy. It's all good. She's got it. 3-1. There's a strike, so it's a full count now on Lowry. A's with 30 hits in this series already, and of course there's 1 game left tomorrow. It's a 4-game series between the A's and the Rangers. The A's, one of the great stories right now in Major League Baseball. They have made a big push and find themselves rather in the thick of things in that wild card division, and there's a walk to Lowry. Oakland has him on the corners here with 1 out. Bob Melvin, what a job he has done this year. There you see the wild card standings. Oakland just 2 games back of Seattle. And definitely playing better than the Mariners right now. Simeon at third, Lowry at first, and now the always dangerous Chris Davis.
Ooh, that's a good pitch on the corner for Martin Perez, 93 miles an hour. That one ends up getting called a ball. That'll be some frustration there. Lance Barksdale not really opening up the outside part of the plate for Martin Perez. That is a call that he certainly would like to have this evening, especially against some of these tough right-handed hitters. He's got just 1 natural lefty in the lineup. We just saw Lowry, of course, who was a switch hitter. So for Martin Perez, who essentially is facing 8 right-handed hitters tonight, the outside corner, a couple of inches off, it's going to be pretty important for him to have that call. Here's your lone lefty, Matt Olson.
Good fastball right on the inside corner, and Perez had 1 and 2. Davis, obviously a major threat, not just for the Rangers, but for anybody he faces. One good piece of news is he'll bounce into a double play. He's done it 11 times this year. And Perez usually pretty good at getting that ground ball when he needs it. It's 2 and 2.
You mentioned it, Martin Perez. He has a knack for it, right? The ground ball rate is good. It's above average at 50%. But the other guys that you see there, especially guys like Marcus Stroman, they have a much higher ground ball rate. But Martin Perez, since the beginning of 2016, has just gotten it figured out. He knows how to get that ground ball when he needs it. I mean, he is blowing away the field, and he's missed a lot of time this year when you look at the double plays induced.
Swing and a miss, and Davis strikes out instead. So 2 gone here in the first inning, and that is a huge out for Martin Perez.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I mentioned how important that outside part of the plate will be for Perez. Good look at the changeup grip. He turns it over really nicely. It stays right there. And could not have thrown a better changeup in that spot to Chris Davis.
So now can he get out of the inning with no harm done? here is that left-handed hitter, Matt Olson. 236 average, 21 home runs for Olson. And he holds off on ball one. See, 2 for 9 in this series. He has scored 3 runs. The on base plus slugging pretty good at 781. The 1-0 pitch just misses. Olson not swinging a real hot bat right now. Last 24 games, he's hitting just a smidge better than 200. He's at 205. But among first basemen in the American League, his 21 home runs are most. And he bounces this one by first, and that is a fair ball. Somehow found the chalk line for a fair ball. Simeon's in. Lowry will stop at third. Olson has an RBI double, and Oakland scores the first run of the game. That was crazy.
It was really crazy, and it was just an awkward bounce. I think everybody thought that this ball was going foul, including Matt Olson. Just by the way that he reacted when he first hit it. Let's take a look. I bet you this thing hits in foul territory, and it did. And it came back just enough. It caught the line, almost had some opposite spin of what you would usually expect off the bat of a lefty. See how this ball comes back a little bit? You almost always see those balls continue to curve right and into foul territory. And just a really bad break for Martin Perez, and a smile for Matt Olson, because I think he knows he got away with one.
Bugs Bunny double. So here's Stephen Piscotty. That's a tough break for Martin. Now has to bear down a little bit. Piscotty with 14 home runs this year, 263 batting average. And he's had a pretty good series so far. You can see the couple of home runs and a double among his 4 hits. Already 7 home runs in the month of July. I say already. The long All-Star break cut into his month. Scoops this one out to right field. Long run for Odor, and he gets there. And Rugi tracks down the final out of the inning. A little break for Martin Perez. Some nice defense again by Rugi.
He continues to get it done defensively. We talked about the UZR last night, the great range of Rougned Odor. He shows it up there on that pop.
Bat. And so now the Rangers' turn. Let's take a look at our Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Shin-Soo Choo leading it off as DH. Rougned Odor, great defensive play, bat second. Then it's Elvis Andrus, Adrian Beltre, Jurickson Profar,
Joey Gallo bats 6th in right field. Chirinos catches, Calhoun in left field, and Carlos Tocci in center field rounds it out. Rangers 42 wins, 60 losses, 24.5 games back of Houston in the American League West. And they'll take their hacks on Edwin Jackson, who makes his 6th start of the year. Jackson 1-2 with a 2.93 ERA, and he deals low for ball 1. Chu's on base percentage over 400 at 402. You see his batting average just a shade under 290 now, and he takes inside 2-0. Big power numbers though for Chu this season. 18 home runs. Continues to be one of the best in the American League at drawing walks. He takes a strike. It's 2-1.
And that's an area so far this year for Jackson in which he has been very good. Just a 2.4 walk rate per 9 innings for the right-hander. A lot of strikeouts, 6.8 on the strikeout rate, so that's about 2 strikeouts less than league average. But I'll throw you some strikes.
Ground ball to the right side where the shortstop Simeon fielded it.
Well, let's get to our pitch arsenal, which is presented by Shiner Sea Salt and Lime Summer Lager. The slider 33% of the time, slightly more than the 4-seam fastball. You'll see that 2-seamer as well, changeup and an occasional curveball from Edwin Jackson. But on that 4-seamer, it's got a lot of natural cut to it, but it has been a great pitch for him. Just an 0.94 batting average against the 4-seamer. He is not allowed to hit on his changeup this year. That pitch we just showed you with 10% usage.
Well, he gets his first man tonight in Chu, and now faces Odor. Odor's average at 259. A couple of doubles so far in this series.
So Simeon just stayed put out there, huh? After it's
yeah. So I mean, they've been doing this very consistently in this series, where they play Simeon in that spot in short right field and leave Lowry at his normal position at second. 1-1 the count.
And they don't shift a ton. They came into this series 23rd overall in defensive shifts that they have been using, but they've been pretty good. A +24 as far as hits that they've taken away and hits that they have given up. That's about 7 more hits taken away than league average. Average big league ball clubs taking around 17 hits away this year.
Ball and 2 strikes on Odor. 1 out here, bottom of the 1st inning. Edwin Jackson's numbers have been good with Oakland. Mentioned that this is just his 6th start of the season for the A's. Signed a minor league contract with the Washington Nationals back in January and started the year with their AAA club in Syracuse. Was released though. He had that opt-out in his contract on June 1st, and the A's swooped in and signed him to a minor league deal themselves, sending him to AAA Nashville. And there's a strike past Odor. 2 away.
The A's defense tonight is sponsored by Jack in the Box. In the outfield, it'll be Chad Pinder, Mark Canha, and Steven Piscotty. And on the infield for the A's, Matt Chapman, Marcus Simeon, Jed Lowry, Matt Olson at first, and Josh Fegley getting the catching duties this evening. First start for him as Jonathan Lucroy gets a night off.
So Andrews was in there momentarily, now asked for time. Elvis, we mentioned at the top of the show, he's enjoyed this series in some respects. At the Grand Slam yesterday, first of his career. Got to hit 1,500 in Monday's game. That was on a home run as well, and he takes a ball here. Elvis 3 for 9 in his career against Edwin Jackson. A well-traveled right-hander. And this one fouled away. Almost on a little 6-game hitting streak, 9 hits in that stretch with a couple of home runs. So it was a little slow when he came off the disabled list offensively. It's starting to feel a little more locked in. One and two. Jackson, the guy who is now in his 16th major league season, and the A's his 13th major league team.
He's got a chance, right? Tied with
Octavio
Dotel right now. He's still only 34 years old.
Yeah.
He's 11 years younger than Bartolo Colon. Plenty of time.
2 and 2. Well, Bob Melvin, when I'm talking to him on Monday afternoon, and the question came up about Bartolo Colon, he had really wonderful things to say about Bartolo Colon, and frankly, one of the best pitchers, the most fun guys he's ever been around. Loved him. And then he said, you know, kind of like Edwin Jackson, he has that ability to slip in to a clubhouse, mix in beautifully, just a great influence. As Andrews pulls this one foul, keeps it back going at 2 and 2. So it was great, you know, very deftly turning the conversation from Bartolo Colon and shining that spotlight then squarely on his own guy, Edwin Jackson, and some really high praise for Edwin Jackson. And you get the sense that he's going to be a big contributor for this A's team and their rotation. Certainly the way he's been throwing the ball. If he continues to do that, he'll be a gigantic pickup for this team.
It's been a nice boost, right? They've dealt with some injuries in that rotation. And this is a guy that has stepped in and brings all the experience that he has in the big leagues at 20 years old. And pretty interesting, too. Jared Sandler passed this one along where he was telling a story about how Edwin Jackson really didn't even pitch that much in high school. Which, you know, we see guys breaking in at 20, but the fact that he weren't even pitching that much in high school and broke in at 20 is pretty incredible. And he obviously has lasted a long time and has made his way around the league. You see the numbers so far this year. This is start number 6 for him. Really good ERA, great strikeouts for him. That opponent's batting average is off the charts. He's been a real boost to this rotation at a time right now, kind of coinciding when the A's started playing some really good baseball.
Payoff pitch, and Andrews keeps that one fair. That's down the left field line. It takes a nice sharp bounce off the wall. Elvis with his 10th double of the year.
We talked about Elvis Andrews in our open and how he looked like he has been locked in, and he picks up right where he left off from yesterday. And this pitch stays up in the zone. Looked like they were trying to go a little bit more down and in. Pitch sat middle at 92 miles an hour and just barely fair. A couple of doubles here tonight where some hitters are using the chalk lines here. One to left with Elvis Andrews, and we saw Matt Olson hit that chopper to right that was right on the foul line. Called even, especially if you can get this run in.
No, Adrian Beltre with the opportunity to drive him home right here. Beltre has had some comfort against Edwin Jackson in his career. You look at the overall numbers for Adrian. Missed some time with injury again. It's just his 70th game of the year. He's 6 for 14 against Jackson. And a base hit to the outfield here should tie the game. This ball hit well center field. Canna back and has room. So inning over. Well struck by Beltre. Just not well enough. We go to the second inning. Oakland leads 1-0. local Buick dealer. We've played one inning, and Oakland has the one run so far. Martin Perez will get the final 3 spots in the order in the second inning. Matt Chapman, Mark Canha, and then Josh Fagley. And puts one right in there for a strike to Chapman. Chapman hitting .259 with 11 home runs. It's a third baseman who has done as good a job defensively as any third baseman in baseball, and you could go ahead and say he's maybe the most valuable defensive player right now in baseball. Bounces this one down to third base. Beltre's opposite number takes care of him. One away. The offense might be starting to slide a little bit on Chapman. Hey, Friday, August 3rd, Rangers and Orioles. It's a 7:05 game. And the first 15,000 fans to the ballpark, well, they get an Eric Nadel 40th anniversary microphone, courtesy of Dr. Pepper and Kroger. You can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS.
Howell was the guy who was sharing time with him early in the year. Jake Smolinski was getting some playing time there, too.
You see Matt Hicks, obviously, went to the Fountain of Youth for his vacation, sitting just to Eric's left.
Tomorrow the Rangers start their first right-handed starter of the series.
There's Hicksy.
Never mind. There's Hicksy.
It's always a party.
I'm telling you.
In the home radio booth.
There is a lot going on up there.
Handful of bobbleheads.
Jared with his. How many suppose he has up there?
How many bobbleheads?
Yeah.
30. I'll say 30. What do you got?
If you're setting the over/under there, I'll go overs.
Oh, just your best guess.
42.
All right, I'll go count them next inning while you do this by yourself.
Okay.
I'll get back to you. 42, huh?
Yeah.
I felt like I might have came in a little light.
2-2 on Mark Canha. He's had a nice series as well. Mentioned earlier, Oakland with 30 hits so far in the first 2+ games that we have played. Actually, I guess it's 31 now. Total hits for Oakland. That will fill the count now, 3-2. Rangers pitching has hit a rather, what's the word I'm looking for here? Jarring bump.
Yeah.
Out of the All-Star break. They've allowed 54 runs now. This is the 6th game that they have played. So 54 runs in 5 games and 1 inning. One of the games was a shutout. So the others have really been tough on the pitching staff. Starting pitching, relief pitching doesn't really seem to matter right now.
Yeah, right. When you're driving, sometimes you get those small speed bumps. You're like, who cares? I can go over that one nearly full speed. Then you get the ones that shake your entire car because you went too fast. That's kind of what it's been like here lately. Walks were an issue yesterday, 8 of them, but you know the A's have just come out swinging. It's a good team. We talked about them before the series started, kind of what they have been doing lately, playing some terrific baseball, best record in the game since June 16th, and the offense has been fantastic. And so the Rangers right now trying to figure out a way to slow the A's down, and Martin Perez the guy to do it. I mentioned first start back from the DL was a really good one. Last one was okay. Did some good things. The run total was a little higher than he wanted, but I thought he threw the ball pretty well. And take a look at the red hot A's over their last 32 games. 25-7, a run differential of +46, 52 home runs. I mean, hitting the long ball as well, and they've been pitching well.
Fagley lifts this one out into right field for Joey Gallo. 2 away. Yeah, it's not just the Rangers who have struggled to slow this team down, obviously, by that note right there. The A's have dealt some blows to some other teams as well. But right now, Oakland is the Rangers' problem, at least for tonight and tomorrow. Marcus Semien steps in now with 2 away and a man at first base. Simeon's now 4 for 12 in the series, and he has scored 5 runs. So he's done a nice job at that leadoff spot, and it's helped set the table quite well for this team. Overall numbers for him, a .254 average, and the on-base percentage for Marcus Semien not that impressive, especially for a leadoff guy. It's 312 coming into play. It's not to say there isn't some value there, but you would like to see, ideally, in that leadoff spot, a guy who gets on with a little more regularity. Runner goes, pitch is low and inside. Throw down to second, a good one. Got him at second base. Canna gun down to end the inning.
Great job by Robinson Chirinos. Throwing has been a little bit of an issue for him this season, but not here in this spot as he steps up and throws out his third potential base stealer this year. This one right on the money.
It's the Rangers back to bat now as Jurickson Profar will lead things off against Edwin Jackson.
So I got some good news for you, Dave Raymond. You did it again.
Love good news.
You did a really great job of guessing on the over/under of Carlos Tocci's fastball. The other night, Ryan Rua, you got them both. You nailed it. Bobblehead total from Eric Nadell's booth, the radio booth for the Texas Rangers, 54.
Whoa.
Is the official count. So
the closest without going over.
Yeah. Price is Right style. I got fooled by the angle. We obviously don't see every bobblehead there, so in my defense, I was kind of misled.
Sure, I'm glad that you were able to come up with an excuse that quickly. That's impressive.
It's a specialty. 19 years of being married, you get pretty good at it.
Well, Profar ahead here, 3-0 in the count. And Jackson pumps one in there for strike one. Profar 5 for 12 since the All-Star break. He has a little 4-game hitting streak going. He lays off that one, and that is ball 4, just a bit high, and so Profar is on with a leadoff walk.
Jurickson Profar was pretty confident in that pitch.
Here's Joey Gallo, our TXU Energy Power player to watch. So here we see it, 14 home runs in excess of 110 miles per hour off the bat. And that is 4 more than any other major league player this year.
I think it's worth noting with Joey Gallo because people ask questions about some of the swing and miss and the batting average with him, and when he makes contact, he does it harder than anybody when he hits the long ball. And when you start trying to make some adjustments and bring up some of those numbers in your game, you got to ask yourself, well, do you want to give up that, right? That great power. That is Joey Gallo's greatest asset. And it's a really tough spot to be in, and it can be really difficult on hitters. And the idea of, well, do I need to be, shortening up my swing a little bit? With Joey Gallo, I'd say no. I know those shifts have been frustrating for him. We have highlighted that. Second most hits lost to the shift this year behind his teammate, Nomar Mazara.
I was talking to Chu the other day about some of this stuff, like the exit velocity and whatnot. And his thing was, he said, I don't really care to know if my home run went 358 feet or 412 feet. It's immaterial to me. Or how hard it came off the bat, all that stuff. He says, I just don't care. I just want the result. And I'd much rather hit 5 340-foot home runs than 2 at 450 feet. But that's his game too. That's who he is.
He's got excellent bat to ball skills, right? That's something that you'll hear that phrase, and the hand-eye coordination. He knows the strike zone extremely well, sees pitches out of pitchers' hands very well, has an idea whether or not that's going to be a strike. That pitch is going to be a strike, and that's a skill set that, listen, he's one of the best in the game. Joey Votto, we talk about him, his ability to do that. Chu is not that far behind based on what we saw this year at age 36. It's really incredible. If you're not that guy, the idea of trying to become that guy is a pretty tall task, even for a big league hitter.
2-0 the count. Well, Joey's sitting on 25 home runs now. 55 driven in. Walked a couple of times yesterday. That's always one of those real good indicators on a hitter. When you see him starting to walk a little bit more, it means they're being a little more selective. When they're a little more selective, they seem to have more success driving the baseball.
That was kind of a story last year, right? Second half.
I think it's a good indication of a guy's confidence in what he is seeing. Now you see 73 home runs in his career to 67 singles. It's still a bit of a fascination. The guy could have that kind of a disparity between the two numbers. There's a close take, and it's a full count.
Joey's done a good job. We've seen sometimes where he's gotten down in the count and worked it full. You mentioned the walks. Now that's been a little bit better for him lately. But go back to last year, after the All-Star break, the on-base percentage was .357 compared to prior to the All-Star break when it was .313. And I think we're starting to see some similar tendencies from him so far after the break this year, much like we saw last year. Remember, he had 20 home runs in the second half compared to 21 in the first half, but it wasn't a half. It was actually in 50 less plate appearances. So he may be one of these guys that kind of falls in that category of being a second half hitter. I think it's too early to make that claim on him, but it's not uncommon. There are guys that certainly can get it going at different times of the year. We see that quite often in this game.
Profar with a little lean over at first. He's going 3-2 pitch. That ball is absolutely hammered, but foul. Third deck. Atta babe. All the way up in that third deck. Guy in the front row. Suppose he figured he'd see a baseball tonight.
I mean, that really is incredible. As far as the location, you're not even thinking about it. And sitting by himself. Like, I'm just going to sit right here. Get your analytics ready. I think this is where Joey Gallo might turn on one foul.
Don't even have to move. Just keep beating my nachos.
I mean, that's as casual as it gets. Yeah, I figured a ball might be coming here, so I set up shop with the nachos. I mean, is that the furthest right that we have seen in upper deck? Like, you're going to get foul balls that are fouled off, back. That'll get into the upper deck. But that's actually turned on. You know what I mean?
Well, last year, now we're going to pan out. Last year, you look at the light standards up above. Let's see if we can. No, we're not going to get him on that shot. But up above that third deck are some light standards. The second one, he hit one over the roof to the right of that light standard, not that one.
I mean, do you even bother yelling, straighten it out? That's something you say from the, you say that from the dugout or no?
No, I think that's absolutely what you say.
Show them where you live, Little League style.
That's what they used to say to me. Straighten it out, just straighten it out. I was so excited to just foul one off. Well, good at bat so far for Gallo. Really doing battle here with Edwin Jackson. And the pickoff throw bounces away. Profar 8 steals in 8 attempts. All right, Gallo continues to wait. This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat. There goes Profar again, a swing and another pop foul back out of play. There will be a 9th. No big deal for Profar. Just getting a little exercise.
It's been a good battle here. Now, we mentioned Edwin Jackson's fastball at the beginning and how good it has been, just that 0.94 batting average again. So it's got some natural cut to it, and Joey has seen a couple of those. And every once in a while, if you're looking kind of through game logs or algorithms, and you'll see that it actually pops up as a slider. And that last pitch was a true slider, but there have been a couple at 92 and 93 that are registering as sliders, but they're really more of that kind of natural cutter that he has with the four-seam fastball. But both of those pitches, the four-seamer and the slider, have been very good for Jackson this season.
The Rangers have already fouled off 11 pitches against Edwin Jackson tonight. That too might be a pretty good sign, as now these two have a little trouble getting together. Of course, if you're Edwin Jackson, you're like, well, I mean, throwing 8 pitches, I don't know what else I have to offer here to really mix it up. Try this one. Nope. Pick over to first base. Profar again back in there easily.
Well, what they stayed away from is the slower breaking balls. We haven't seen the curveball, and he doesn't throw it very often, and we haven't seen the changeup either, which you would think as a right-handed pitcher you may want to throw that changeup in there once in a while. When you start facing a guy that has fouled off this many pitches, sometimes you go ahead and you go to something else. But looks like we might see another heater. We'll see.
There it goes. 3-2 pitch. That one is low, and it's ball 4. So back-to-back walks. Rangers had the first 2 men on in the inning, but they've also really made Edwin Jackson work here.
And that actually, I believe, was a changeup. So very interesting combination there for Jackson, but he missed with it.
All right, let's check in with Emily Jones.
You guys alluded to it a little bit, how we saw that change in Joey Gallo last year after the break, and talking to him today during batting practice, he said he really does feel refreshed. It's, you know, you try not to let the frustrations of the game mount, especially in your head, but he said he admits that it has gotten to him at times, and so a chance for him to step back and really reset was welcomed for him. So we're seeing the results here early on, and hopefully that will continue, but it is a trend for him, and one that he hopes to perhaps avoid in future seasons, trying to kind of channel what he's getting out of this early time out of the break and maybe apply it to earlier in the season.
Yeah, it's an interesting trend with him, and I think something from a coaching staff that you keep an eye on. And if Joey Gallo is a guy that responds well to the break, the all-star break, obviously that's a nice one because you get to step away from the game completely. But think about this, if you're a coach and you notice that, would you give him maybe a 2-day break, you know, say in middle of May if he's struggling a little bit, combine it with an off day, give him say a Sunday off, knowing that you have Monday, and not that it's the same as the all-star break, because it's not, but I think that's definitely a trend that's worth kind of keeping an eye on.
1-0 to Chirinos inside, so 2 balls and no strikes.
That's why I mentioned this the other night. Didn't get quite the opportunity to finish my thought on that. I wondered about if we'll ever see.
I think it's a good point, CJ. We'll get back to that a little later.
What about we don't see multiple off days in the big leagues except at the All-Star break?
Yeah.
Think we could ever get to a place where we might see 2 days off in a row in May?
As part of the schedule?
2 days off in a row in short. Don't make the All-Star break 4 days. Listen, we've already added 4 off days this year. There's all these sleep studies and rest and everything else that is happening around the game. I'm not saying next year, but down the line, we're a couple of old fogies kicking it in the nursing home.
I wouldn't put anything as an impossibility. I mean, but if you're going to get to that point, you're probably talking about truncating the schedule a little bit in terms of games played.
154 might happen.
154 is a possibility. Profar second, Gallo at first. And the 3-0 is in there for a strike. Now Chirinos did not play yesterday. It's 3 for 12 on this homestand coming into play tonight. A couple of walks, a home run in there. And swing of the bat pretty well lately. Nearly a .280 average over the last 17 games. The 3-1 pitch, and he drives this one in the air to center field. Canna going back, looks up, gone! A 3-run homer for Robinson Chirinos, and the Rangers have taken the lead 3-1. And when he hits it, he drives it, and he does it again.
A great at-bat for Robinson. Chirinos gets himself in that 3-0 count. He has been very patient. The walk rate has been great for him. And then 3-1 fastball down in the zone, very similar to the one that he just saw that he took on the 3-0 count. As we take a look at the StatCast data that is powered by AWS, 107 miles per hour. That projected distance of nearly 430 feet for the Ranger catcher.
So 3-1 the score, and now here is Willie Calhoun. Willie with a home run in this series. It came last night. Recalled from AAA Round Rock on Friday. He's hit safely now in 3 of the first 4 games in a Rangers uniform this year. And he takes a strike. It's 1-1. So walk, home run as Edwin Jackson continued to fall behind hitters, and now Calhoun bounces this one over the mound. A slow roller, and Chapman has no play. It looked like the third baseman was the only guy with a chance to make the play, and he just couldn't quite get it.
An infield hit for Willie Calhoun. This is a really difficult play. Matt Chapman is an excellent defensive third baseman. We talked a lot about that last night. I think he hesitated just for a second. There's a part of you that understands that Marcus Semien is also maybe got a chance at this, and so that's in the back of your mind. Actually, no hesitation. He just missed it. That's a really difficult play to come that far for a third baseman, even for Matt Chapman, who we've talked about as being one of the best defensive third basemen in the game. Love to see Tochi try to bunt right here.
He squares and takes in for ball 1.
So part of that is a couple of walks, the home run, and then the infield base hit. And the reason that's a really good play, not just as a sacrifice, but to try to bunt for a hit in this spot. If it turns into sacrifice, great. But there's chaos right now. Right? Walks, home runs. And it wasn't an error, but it may be a misplay by a really good third baseman. The idea of trying to bunt on the first pitch right after all that action is a really good idea.
Do you do it on the next pitch?
If he wants to.
But he does drop it down in front of the plate. That's a fair ball. The throw to second is good for an out. But Semien, no chance to relay it on to first base. So a 2-6 fielder's choice. 1 away.
Yeah, unfortunately for Carlos Tochi, he just got this off the end of the bat and deadened it too much. You want to deaden the baseball, but because of that little cut, you can see it there. Top half of the ball barely was able to get this. You want to push this ball a little bit. And it was a sacrifice. He squared early, and he was thinking about sacrificing. He wasn't trying necessarily to bunt for a hit. And a really nice play, by the way, at second base, and a nice pick by Marcus Semien. But not the bunt that obviously Carlos Tocci was looking for.
So now the lineup turns over. Here is Chu for a second time tonight. And he takes a strike from Jackson. Chu grounded out in the first inning, 0 for 1. As great as he has been, he was the Rangers Player of the Month in June. Continued his hot stretch in July, in fact all the way to the tune of a franchise record 52 game on base streak. But last now 4+ games, won for his last 13.
Did he get on all 4 of those though?
All 4 of those games?
Or since he broke the streak, hasn't he been on every game since? Has he started a new streak is what I'm trying to get at. I believe he has.
I don't know.
I think he's at 3. I guess I got
4 yesterday with a walk. He has had 3 walks. He was hit by a pitch in the opener on Monday. Walked on Sunday.
Yeah. So yeah, he's on a 3-game on base streak. Make it no, not yet. Make it 4 after this double.
Double it is. Jackson taking a long look in, and now time asked for and granted.
So for Carlos Tocci, it is important that he does those little things right now. He got the top half of the ball, caught it on the end a little bit, so that bunt didn't go anywhere. But he gets an opportunity here, which Orlando DeShields sent down yesterday to AAA. It almost seems unfair to say, oh, the guy's got to be perfect. He doesn't have to be perfect. But in the little things, running the bases, playing defense, bunts, those are areas that he has to excel to really make that impression on the coaching staff that he's looking to make. Now that he's getting the regular playing time, the regular at-bats, consistent opportunity. Not saying you can't miss a bunt once in a while. Everybody's going to do it. But based on what Jeff Bannister said yesterday about Tocci and what he sees as the upside, those little things, some of the small ball, it's going to be important for Tocci.
He's got a little lead over there at first. The 1-2 pitch. Chu lifts it high in the air, but foul over to the left side, out of play. Interesting with Chu here, behind in the count to Edwin Jackson. Jackson has thrown a first pitch strike to just 1 hitter tonight, and that was Chu in this at bat. He had fallen behind 1-0 to everybody else. 3-0 on the Chirinos home run. A couple of walks preceding the homer. And this one in the dirt evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. I mentioned earlier, once the Rangers had those 2 runs in front of Chirinos, that not only had they gotten the first 2 men on, but they had really made Edwin Jackson work. And to that end, here we are with 1 out in the inning, and this will be the 30th pitch of the inning for Jackson.
Jackson out here making Ryan Buchter look like he works fast.
That's true. He is fairly deliberate.
His pace, as far as the number of the stack coming into tonight, 26.2. Buchter, I believe, was 28. The left-handed reliever, the only lefty in that Oakland A's bullpen, but he was working really slow the other night. Edwin Jackson also working pretty slow here.
2-2. That is off the plate. Well, Eric Nadel, we were talking about Eric a little earlier, celebrating his 40th anniversary behind the mic here in Arlington, and he gets annoyed. He really does get annoyed by slow workers.
It's his passion.
And so he told me today, he said that guy,
new guest, by the way,
he said he was like 40 seconds between pitches. He said, so finally he got so frustrated at one point, he said, I just told the listeners, I said, after this pitch, I'm not going to say anything until he throws another pitch. Ground ball foul. And he said, so He's like, so there we were on the radio.
Yep.
He says it was like 37 seconds of just dead air.
He told me the same thing today. And understandably, listen, when you've covered the game as long as he has, and he has seen how they've gone slower and taken longer, it gets frustrating.
I'm sure he's discussing that very thing right now. Tochi at first. No draw throw.
He just looked in here and gave us the fake yawn.
Yeah, he might be giving the listeners the silent treatment again. That's funny.
I get it, though. It is frustrating when you've called games as long as Eric Nadel has, and I'd love to hear about, you know, his first year, what pace was like. They probably weren't thinking about it.
I hope he has the pitch clock. Here's a
It's a swing and a miss. Throw to second, and Tochi, who is out by quite a wide margin, to strike him out, throw him out, double play. The inning is done, but the Rangers strike big.
Now they certainly do, thanks to Robinson Chirinos, who gets a pitch down in the zone that he can handle, and he drills it out to dead center field. 13th home run of the season for Chirinos.
Work continues, and that thing is going up rapidly. AT's pumping those, nice and comfy in there. As we go to work here in the third inning, we welcome in Jim Watry, the CEO of Texas Live, and thank you so much for the tour today. That was
Sure,
a
my
blast.
pleasure. Yeah.
And the shirts?
The shirts.
I wanted to wear mine. Dave Soltis out front. Can you believe that?
Yeah. By the way, you might consider that.
There you go.
I got a good piece for that. Yeah, it's pretty good. Anyway, we got a personal tour today, and I mean, I know it's not quite ready. August 9th, the launch date, and I had competing emotions in there. One was, that's unbelievable. This is incredible what's happened, and I can see it. And also, like, oh my gosh, August 9th, really? You got a lot of work still, right?
Right on schedule. I mean, they're working overnights. The AV guys are there right now, and they're the outdoor area with the pavers and the plazas. So there's a lot of stuff that's done off-site that we stage and we bring in just at the last second and plug and play.
It was pretty busy there this afternoon, and I'd asked you, pretty fascinating as far as how many workers are there when it's at full capacity. What is that number?
Yeah, for operations, we'll have, we got a big manager crew, and we'll have between 300 and 400 hospitality workers there for every event.
Yeah, this was awesome. Some fantastic photography work here. I don't know who did that, but very nice. Good framing. Not so great on the light there on the left. But Troy's place, that's going to be pretty cool. Pudge's Pizza. Is there? Now, I know you can't play favorites, but is there one that you're kind of maybe? Now, no, I'm not even saying let's stay away from those guys because they're real people. But maybe the other places. Is there something that you're maybe a little bit more excited to see than some others?
Again, you're right. I love them all equally, but that Lockhart's is great.
Yeah.
The Lockhart's barbecue.
You were telling us some pretty cool things about what they're doing with their barbecue pits today.
Yeah, so we seasoned them with bacon fat and we fired them up, and they're all ready to go. But they're not officially Lockhart's smokers until we take a heritage pull from the original Lockhart smoker, and we're driving that from Dallas to Arlington tomorrow.
You said with a police escort. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, and a big fire truck. Yep.
That's the way Dave travels too.
Yeah.
He's used to it.
This one hit out to right field and tracked down out there by Joey Gallo. Pinder retired, 2 away. So August 9th, what are the emotions right now for you as this becomes closer and closer? I mean, it's been so much work that goes into this.
Right.
What's the level of excitement and anticipation?
It's really exciting. It's the best time, really. I mean, you've got the construction guys turn the side over to the operations guys, and we're really getting the team together, and they're really working well together. We start training on 7:30 with our orientation, so we'll have everybody in the building at the same time, and that's probably my favorite day.
And opening day, or I guess maybe opening week is maybe a better way to describe it as far as the events that'll be happening, the first events.
Yeah, a bunch of great stuff. We've got concerts coming up, the Toadies on Thursday. We've got the Bleachers on Friday, and then Kip Moore's playing in the Arlington backyard on Saturday. And one real fun event we do Family Fun Day. It's like a carnival for kids. It's got bouncy houses, petting zoo, snow cones, popcorn, live music. And it's a free ticketed event. We've already sold out of 2,500 tickets.
You said Arlington Yard, right? Is that what it's going to be called?
Arlington Backyard, correct.
Backyard. Tell us a little bit about exactly what that part is.
It's great. It's a professional music venue. We'll do 40 ticketed national acts a year out there, but it's also great for festivals and private parties. And when there's nothing scheduled out there, we'll have great yard games out there. We've got some great bars and just a great people watching area, nice gathering place.
So we were kind of telling stories today to everybody. Hey, we went over there, we saw this stuff. And, you know, the first thing that comes up is the 100-foot video board.
Right.
And then the first question everybody asked was, well, did they fire it up? Did you get to see it? So how many times have you guys popped that thing on and messed around a little bit?
So we're dialing it in right now, and Friday we're going to give the AV system a test, both the videos, and we're going to see how loud that building gets with the speaker system.
And it's the largest video board outside of a live sports arena or live event arena in the country?
Yes.
That's amazing.
And these are renderings here. Now, we're kind of on that rendering there where the band is. You were also mentioning there'll be another board that'll come down, correct?
Yep, so that whole wall is a video board. So imagine watching UFC coming up here. We show all the UFC fights. Mm-hmm. So beyond baseball and football and college sports, we cover all the sports and all the anything you can watch and have fun with the Masters or the PGA. We'll show it on that screen.
Now, I'm assuming for when you're running a Ranger game in there, you'll have some EMTs on hand, because when Dave's doing the open, you're talking about, what, an 80-foot Dave Raymond head.
Right.
That could be traumatizing to people. I'm sure we'll have that covered just in case.
Yeah, that's a good note.
Yeah.
I'll take that one down.
Got some other suggestions, too, that I'll pass on during the break. So the staffing at this point, you know, we've had a couple of big job fairs and whatnot.
Yes.
Do you feel like everybody has the proper number of people in place to flip the switch?
Yeah, we're going to train about 850 people for the first round, and then we're still hiring enough. We scheduled the second round for about a week after we open. I think there's going to be a lot of people once we open, see what we're all about, that want to join the team. So we're making that available. 2
mechanical bulls at PBR, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Was there like an inaugural, like who gets to do it the first time? You throw it to a pro? Steve Hunt's pretty good. Our statistician said he doesn't mind getting on a mechanical bull.
Mike Rostek runs all our PBRs. He'll be in town, and he's got a few tricks up his sleeve, I believe.
Really?
So we'll do something cool.
Swing and a miss by Davis. Last thing as we let you go, though. You're open every single day. You told me Christmas, Thanksgiving, all of it?
Yeah, 11 o'clock every single day. The restaurants will be open. And then during peak times, events, and the weekends, we'll open that whole building, including the backyard and the second floor. But it's, yeah, we're all day, every day, and I think that's the message we've been getting out. And I think people will be very impressed with the kitchens, the hospitality, and the building itself is very impressive.
We're excited. Thanks so much, Jim.
My
Really
pleasure.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you very much.
Thanks, Jim.
Watching
Thanks again.
CEO Texas Live. It's pretty cool talking to Jim. Really cool seeing that today, taking the tour. Such an impressive venue, and fans, when this thing opens up, fans are going to go crazy. It is going to be such a fun place on game days, all the time, really.
I mean, I don't know where I want to go first. Like when everything is up and running. Like the idea of tackling a slice of Pudge's pizza, pretty exciting. We didn't even mention. So I was joking around. When I was doing play-by-play with Tom in Boston, I was like, Tom, we should open up our own place. I threw out the idea of a cigar bar. He shot me down immediately. I said, what about virtual golf? He said, I could get on board with that. Well, they actually do have virtual golf there. They're going to have 2 virtual golf booths. I mean, everything. It's going to be really tremendous playground. Going to be a lot of fun things to do there. Oh, and by the way, there'll be a big league ballpark attached to it if you want to come watch the Rangers play as well. But all the other events when there's actually not games. Pretty cool. And he showed us some awesome seats up high, the VIP stuff that they have. It's going to be fantastic. The Lowe's Hotel, about 300 rooms, 14 floors. He said it's going to be beautiful, but the design, it is amazing to watch all those people working in there and getting after it. And that it is just around the corner.
Well, we're basically 2 weeks away from opening Texas Live. Now the hotel will take about another year. They're saying maybe August of next year before the Lowe's Hotel will be open. Then, of course, 2020, the opening of the new ballpark.
So will you get on the mechanical bull ever?
Sure. I mean,
it really scares me. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Unless there's like a kiddie setting. I'll get on the kiddie one. Slow it down a little bit.
This one hit up the middle sharply, but Jed Lowry is right there, and he throws out Odor. 1 away. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in with Dana Larson. Well, Pirates have certainly worked themselves back into the conversation in the National League Central. Still a tough go. It's amazing how the separation between the top teams in the leagues and the teams maybe outside looking in, how distinct it can be, especially in the American League. But it's a tough go for the Pirates.
It is, but did you see Evan Grant's little tidbit today?
No.
Ranger related. Sound like the Pirates are poking around on Kella. Just rumors, you know. That's what they do. I'm gonna say we do. That's not. We know better. We've had that discussion, but kind of interesting.
Poor Evan. Poor Evan doesn't know better.
he does. He gets involved.
That's his job.
So he takes on the brunt of all the nonsense that social media has to offer. But you wrote about that today. Sounds like maybe the Pirates ringing a couple of phones over here in Arlington, inquiring at least, and seeing what the status is of the Ranger closer, who's been fantastic this year, who was first save of the season last night. That's how good he's been.
In an unusual spot.
Yeah, very tough
spot that he has really not been thrown into this year. 2-strike pitch to Andrus, and that one skips up to the plate. Elvis doubled back in the first inning. Rangers lead 3-1. It was a 3-run homer by Chirinos in the second. Jackson and Fegley agree on a sign, and there's a bouncer left side of the infield. It's the wrong guy. Chapman throws out Andrus 2 away. He is pretty darn good. Hey, Saturday, August 4th, Rangers and Orioles playing in a 7:05 game. And the first 15,000 fans get a Vladimir Guerrero Hall of Fame bobblehead courtesy of Allstate. Tickets are available at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS.
When we were at Texas Live today, did you see the door that said Troy's office?
No.
Take note of that as we were walking in by the dock.
Oh, I missed that.
It was just scribbled on a piece of paper, and it, from the outside, didn't look like it would be Troy's office. I felt like it would be, he would have a pretty awesome office. I wanted to open the door. I didn't. It looked like a closet door. And it was just scribbled on a piece of paper. It said Troy's office.
And while not impressive, I agree.
Yeah.
I saw a large cardboard box, looked like it'd been pretty well kicked around, and it said CJ on it.
That is accurate.
Is there anything you need to tell us about that? You got something brewing?
It's one of those things that we're going to talk about. That bronze statue. We're going to keep it under wraps, but I guess you kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit. So yeah, it'll be front and center.
A little place for our
somewhere
Rangers analyst to go. This cardboard box up by the mechanical bull. 1-1 pitch, and that one lined into left center field by Beltre, and he'll go for 2. Hustled in by Canna, but Beltre with his 13th double of the year.
Nice job here by Adrian Beltre with 2 outs, trying to go in. They missed down and over the plate. Good look at the 2-seam fastball grip, and the idea there for Jackson was he was trying to keep that pitch belt high, running in on the hands, but he did not get it there, and Adrian Beltre made him pay.
Beltre is 12th on the all-time doubles list. That was number 626 for him. And right in front of him is Big Papi, David Ortiz, at 634. So closing in on that as well. He might end up in the top 10 in doubles this season. This one bounced foul by Profar for a strike.
And you think we saw the ball girl down the left field line make a pretty tremendous play? If you're on the right field line, feel extra pressure.
Yes,
the rest of the night. That was a tough play that we just saw down the right field line. And the way it bounced, trying to play those angles off the wall is really tricky. You're not exactly sure which way it's going to go. And as I was watching that ball go, I'm like, wow, the pressure's on. You think there's the smack talk between the ball girls a little bit?
I'd like to think so.
Yeah. That's a tough play.
The way I see it, pretty much everything in life is a competition.
Yeah.
So, yeah. One-strike pitch, and this one lifted high in the air out to left center field. Pender will give way to the center fielder, Mark Canna, and the inning is done. Rangers leave a man. We've played 3 innings tonight. Rangers lead the A's 3-1.
Life Park in Arlington, Progressive fan of the Game Time. It is Adler Hegwer celebrating his first birthday. I've been informed he is already the biggest Rangers fan, and his favorite TV personality is me. Isn't that right?
That's right.
Yeah, and he can't talk, so how could we argue with him or debate that fact, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Adler, happy birthday, buddy. And he's giving you guys away.
Hi, Adler.
Go Rangers. Nope.
Yep, he's got it.
Nice work, bud. Right.
It's so interesting how his favorite personality was Emily, and yet he was looking it up.
Yeah, and waving to us as if to say, don't believe her, it's you guys.
She put this thing in my mouth there and won't let me talk. Matt Olson leading off the fourth inning for Oakland. Oakland looking for its 60th win of the year tonight. And Olson had the RBI double in the first inning that gave the A's their only run so far tonight off Martin Perez. It's an A's team that has finished last in the division each of the last 3 seasons. But there was a lot of hope in the offseason in the East Bay because they finished 17-7. They actually were just a game under 500 after the All-Star break last year. They went 36-37. And even though they're the worst defensive team in baseball last year, people were like, hey, listen, they played better the second half of the year, really finished strong. Maybe there's something there as Olson pops this one up. And Beltre stays with it and puts away out number 1.
Now that time I thought it was going to be Elvis. Did you?
Well, yeah, once Beltre moved over to his right, yeah, I thought that he was doing that to give it up for
They do
Elvis.
a good job of making this difficult even on us. Like as far as guessing. Oh yeah.
Well, he's giving up to Elvis. Nope.
Well, he was pretty firm in calling it, right? And then of course Elvis knows at that point to go ahead and lay back. So I thought this was interesting. We mentioned this about Chris Davis before, struggling against lefties, coming in hitting just 202 against lefties. Steve Piscotty, same thing, just 204 against lefties for a couple of the right-handed hitters, and that's why that outside corner becomes so important.
This ball hit well out to left field, but Calhoun is there, 2 away. All right, let's take a moment here and hear from our good friends at Southwest Kia.
At Southwest Kia, we've made car buying easy. $250 down delivers, monthly payments $250 a month or less. SouthwestKia.com.
2 quick outs for Martin Perez. And he'll get Matt Chapman now.
Good fastball. How about that? 95 miles an hour from Martin Perez. A couple of years ago, he was up there with some of the hardest throwing left-handed starters in the game. The fastball's been down a couple of ticks this year, but you think about the inconsistent work with the DL trip, and that probably has been a contributor. Martin has been throwing the ball well tonight and keeping a pretty good pace as well. And you see him trying to get right back on the mound and get going, trying to have a quick inning here.
Ball and 2 strikes on Chapman. Well, he faced just 3 hitters in the second inning, although there was a walk to Canna. Canna then thrown out trying to steal second base, allowing Martin to face just the 3 hitters. 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Chapman. Point being that he has not had a 1-2-3 half inning yet, where he has retired all 3 hitters in a row. Here comes the pitch, and that one looked good. That is strike 3. Chapman goes down looking, and there is the first 1-2-3 of the night for Martin Perez. Just 12 pitches needed. Bottom of the 4th inning, Joey Gallo will start things off for the Rangers. Then it's Robinson Chirinos and Willie Calhoun. GMC dealer today. Good start to this one. Robinson Chirinos providing the 3-run homer. And the Rangers up by 2. As they bat here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Joey Gallo will lead things off. He walked in a terrific at bat in the 2nd inning. He hits this ball hard and through into right field. Just to the right of Marcus Semien, who is playing in shallow right field, and Gallo with a single.
I love that approach by Joey. You mentioned a long at bat first time around, eventually ended up drawing a walk, and so he looks for something early in the strike zone to attack, and it looked like Edwin Jackson might have just been trying to get strike 1. Joey was all over it. Gets himself a leadoff base hit.
So he's aboard now for Robinson Chirinos.
It's kind of out of the book of Chu, right? Sometimes we've seen that from Shin-Soo Choo, have some of those long at bats, and other times look for something real early, jump on it, get it put in play. Guys that do that keep you guessing a little bit, makes it a little bit more difficult as a pitcher.
Yeah, I guess just as a pitcher can't fall into certain patterns.
No doubt.
Hitters, be wise to think of it in a similar way. There's a little temper goes foul. It doesn't happen all that often, but every once in a while you'll hear that story of a hitter. Manny Ramirez was good at doing this, who would set up a pitcher for an at-bat later in the game.
Or even within that at-bat. His reactions is what he would do to you. You put a fastball, maybe put it up in the zone, he'd foul it straight back, right? A lot of times when you're watching that, like, ooh, he just missed it, right? And he would act like he would just miss it. He'd say something in Spanish and act like he was really frustrated. And as a pitcher, you're watching it, you're going, man, I caught a break there. He was all over my fastball and just missed it. Well, his plan there was to try to get you to throw you an off-speed pitch in the zone. And he would just be sitting there, eyes wide open, waiting for it. Yeah. He was good. There's certain guys that would do that, react a certain way to a pitch just to try to make you think the pitch had the effect that you wish it had. It's a good game. You got to have a lot of confidence to do that. You have to be really good in that situation. You got to be confident that, you know, an off-speed pitch is coming. You sit on it, and if a guy comes back in the fastball, you're done because you're sitting off-speed there trying to coax him into doing that. It's something that you have to be really experienced and really confident in doing, but obviously Manny Ramirez is pretty fantastic.
1-2 to Chirinos, and that one misses outside and low.
But you'd hear his teammates talk about it. They would say things like, you talk to other guys about, you know, don't buy into that, you know, joking around, having fun. He's like, he can't get to that fastball. That's why he's acting the way that he's acting. He knows he can't get to it at that spot. He just wants you to flip him something with a little spin on it because he was a tremendous off-speed hitter. Not that he was a bad fastball hitter, he wasn't, but he could crush an off-speed pitch with the best of them and do it to right field.
Gallo with a small lead, the 2-2, when fouled away. So there are certainly times when you win a battle, pitcher-hitter confrontation or vice versa, based on your stuff, your abilities. You just go mano a mano, and you happen to win that one. Do you remember from your playing career any of those moments where it was particularly satisfying because you felt like you just outwitted somebody?
Oh, sure. I think when you feel like your guy's guessing along with you, and that's usually part of what your catcher's doing back there, right? He understands those hitters a lot more as a hitter, and the guy who's catching your stuff, that'll kind of coach you along as well. There are certain pitches, times where you knew if you could execute that a guy couldn't get to it, based on how you got there at that point in the at-bat, what you used earlier, or maybe what you used even earlier in the game. You're constantly learning and adjusting throughout the game. You can have a game plan, and it's important to have a game plan. The preparation is at a level that we've never seen before because of all the information that is available. But you also adjust throughout the game if you see something different, and that means both the catcher and the pitcher.
Two-two. That one turned foul. You know, along those lines, we were having a little fun earlier today talking with Ray Fosse, the former Gold Glove catcher, two-time All-Star catcher in the A's organization, now a broadcaster. There's Ray on the left. Glenn Kuiper, his partner, on the right. But Ray was a great defensive catcher, and he was talking a lot about reading feet, reading the feet of hitters when he played, and talking to guys in today's game and recent years about that same skill and how you can learn a lot from that. You know, it's fun. You know, I haven't been around the game for a while, and you know, you have young boys, I have young boys, and you get to help them along a little bit, learn about the game, and certain situations come up, and you teach them about reading swings, reading at bats.
Sure.
I've never really thought much about reading a hitter's feet from the catcher's position, but it made all the sense in the world as he described it.
If they move around a little bit, you see a guy creep up in the box. I've noticed that before, where you watch a guy.
Swing and a miss by Chirino. Scalo running the throw to second, and they got him, and that is the second time tonight that a Rangers base runner has been thrown out trying to steal second base.
A couple of good throws tonight from Beagley as he nails Joey Gallo. Breaking pitch, first of all, down and away as Chirino swings through it, and that throw was right on the money. And Joey pleading his case because it looked like a double tack. He looked in for a long time. He thought maybe he missed him, but he got him twice. But yeah, so if you see a hitter sometimes creep up in the box, you might be thinking, hey, he's trying to cheat to get to an off-speed pitch before it breaks, right? And you're subtle. You're not just going to take huge steps in front of the box, but you may see a guy start to sneak up. And my thought would be, okay, he wants to get that curveball, that cutter before it breaks. Try to get it out front before it has a chance to really finish. And that's when you, a lot of times, you go with a hard fastball. That is a good feeling when you kind of pick up on that.
Yeah.
When a guy's being sneaky, that's certainly something that I've seen before.
Calhoun turns this one down the first baseline. Olsen will grab it, go to the bag, and that's a quick bottom of the fourth for the Rangers. Nothing doing. So it's off to the fifth inning tonight. Rangers still lead by 2.
So far, made a really strong throw to Rougned Odor to nail Mark Canha as he tried to steal second base, and then home run number 13, 429 feet. We're not going to give that little kid nervous. A great effort, but he had an A's hat on. I saw that Ranger fan sneak in there and get it, so we're certainly happy for him, and we're happy for that man right there. Robinson Chirino is one of the nicest big leaguers you will ever run across.
We get back after it here in the fifth inning. Canha, the 8th place hitter to lead things off. He takes a strike. It's 1-1. See the season numbers for Canha there at the bottom of the screen. And this is an A's team that has some power, scoring some runs, although they tend to wait until the late innings to do a lot of their real heavy lifting offensively. And that has maybe never been quite as dramatically on display as it has been the first 2 games of this series. In the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings, they have absolutely piled on. Today, pretty quiet through the first 4. Just a run on 3 hits. Meanwhile, from the standpoint of Martin Perez, had a 1-2-3 4th inning, and he has retired 7 of the last 8 batters he has faced. Pitch count, decent shape, at just 63 at the moment. Just inside.
Well, that 96 miles an hour, mentioned that 95-mile-an-hour fastball that we saw earlier, and Martin Perez, after that 19-pitch first inning, has rolled along very nicely innings 2 through 4. That 96-mile-an-hour fastball, hardest pitch of the night for Perez.
Yeah, there's another one. This one on the corner for strike 3 called. So Canada down looking, and it's back-to-back strikeouts for Martin Perez.
Always a good sign too when you see guys taking the good fastballs, and that one was perfectly located. Look at that right there. I mean, Robinson Chirinos didn't have to move at all. And I wonder for Mark Canha if he just wasn't thinking that Martin was going to try to go back-to-back 4-seam fastballs in. It looked like that one really caught him by surprise.
So he jumps ahead of Josh Phegley now with strike 1. Phegley, the catcher, batting 9th. And his first appearance in this series, and just like that, in a whole 0-2. Average is down to 209 for Phegley. On base percentage coming in was at 271. So offensively, maybe not quite as much in the middle of things as so many others of these A's hitters. He was a guy who was sent out earlier this year. A little bit of a message perhaps sent to Phegley, and I was talking to folks in the A's organization. They feel like he got it right. I mean, sometimes you send a guy out and you want him to go down, get some work, maybe get better at a couple of things, whatever the case. Refocus your energies on playing hard every play, that kind of thing. And you don't always get through. That message doesn't always resonate, or a guy just gets mad. But they felt like Phegley really understood it, took it to heart, went down there, got back to work, and they're happy to have him back.
Things have changed dramatically in that regard, I think. And I'm sure every generation probably says the same, but how you handle a modern player in those spots. There's this whole deal with Gary Sanchez in New York, not hustling. Aaron Boone is there because of the strength of relationships that they believe he would have with young players. It's a different generation. It's a different generation than he came up in.
Bouncer third base. Beltre stays with it. Throws! In time! They just got Phegley. But by an eyelash at first. Phegley not the quickest on the team. And Beltre needed every split second he could get.
And he's laughing now, but this was a tremendous play by Adrian Beltre. You're going to watch a pretty hard hit ground ball pop up on him, but look at the recovery and the quick throw, and just barely gets Phegley. He almost fell trying to put the brakes on as Adrian kind of tossed that to himself, obviously not intentionally. And a good job by Jurickson Profar to get a stretch in there, and smiles all the way around.
2 gone now, and it brings up Marcus Semien, and he'll take strike 1.
But, you know, how do you handle those situations now? It's a different game. It's not, you know, I talk about first managers I had like Davey Johnson and Sparky Anderson. They didn't care about your feelings. They weren't worried about how you reacted if they needed to discipline you. And that is an era that's probably gone. And that has changed now. And so when you have a guy that you feel like maybe isn't hustling, do you just pull him out? Do you have to worry about embarrassing him? How does the organization feel up top about those kinds of things? We saw with Bryce Harper the other day, or not the other day, but before the All-Star break. Didn't hustle a ball out. Dave Martinez is in his first year, and Bryce Harper is a star who's headed to free agency. If he doesn't hustle, what do you do in that spot? It's changed, and it's tough. It's a really tough spot for a manager to be in. And I got to believe that he would get frustrated by the fact that his player would put him in that spot. Now, that's the conversation I would have privately that the media would never know about. So listen, why would you put me in that position that I have to even address this? Well, Joe Madden talks about this all the time, and the Cubs seem to get it. Respect 90.
This ball shot up the middle by Simeon. Base hit. I don't think a wide turn, but hold. A 2-out single here. What do you suppose the harder part there is? Is it addressing the player in private, as you say, or is it the fact that you now have to answer questions from the media about the play and how it's handled?
Because they're going to put some pressure on you, right? They're going to try to get an answer out of you. They want to see, how far they can push you on that, right? And saying, well, it's okay that he gets away with that. Are you worried about the message to younger players? Those are the kind of questions that reporters may ask to push that manager. That certainly is a concern, because the turnover with managers now is higher than ever, right? That's the part that I don't love either about our game, is that there seems to be more turnover. The Yankees said that if they won the World Series, even if they won the World Series, they were still going to fire Joe Girardi, which is a lie. Of course that's a lie, right? But you hear those kinds of things, and you hear things about relationships. So managers are put in a really difficult spot when their players don't hustle. And so going back to your point about the message getting through, that's important. But how do you even send the message? Now, Bob Melvin's been around for a while, right? And it's a young team here with the A's for the most part. And so he has the respect of his players as he should. He probably isn't nearly as worried about maybe disciplining a player. If you're Dave Martinez, if you're Aaron Boone, if you're Mickey Callaway, rookie managers, and a guy doesn't hustle, and especially if he's got a few years in the big leagues, it's a really difficult spot to be in. It never used to be, but it is now for a manager.
This division, you think about it, one of the more stable divisions in baseball, and you build around Mike Scioscia in Anaheim in that way. But Melvin has been the manager here since 2011, recently extended.
Scott Service just got an extension.
Say again?
Scott Service just got an extension.
Service just got an extension. A.J. Hinch, one would guess, would have some staying power in Houston after the success he has had.
A.J., Banny, and Scott Service, they all started the same year, didn't they? Yeah.
Banny was the American League Manager of the Year. Next year went out and won the division and posted the most records or rather the most wins in the American League. The only time the Rangers had ever led the American League in wins. He was under Banny's tutelage in year 2, so he's had a real good start to his run here. Last year, a bit of a stumbling block. This year, admitted retooling, if you will. I don't know. People sometimes get a little finicky about the semantics, but it's pretty clear the Rangers gearing up for the future, not necessarily this year. 2-2 pitch.
It's been a real opportunity to get creative with your RE words.
Right.
Rebuilding, retooling, resetting. And really part of that is for your fans to kind of best throw it out there, because rebuild is like taboo. That sounds like you're just going to be terrible for 3 years and we'll figure it out from there.
Can be. It can be.
Retooling's kind of nice. Sounds nice.
That's pretty much a winner. This one flared out to center field, a base hit for Pender. Heading around second to third base, Simeon. So a couple of 2-out singles, and just like that, the A's have men on the corners, and Jed Lowry coming to the plate.
This is the third time through the order for Martin Perez, as you get a look at that fastball grip. Pretty good pitch. I mean, he hit his spot. Chad Pender has had the Ranger lefties, that is for sure. And he comes into tonight's game hitting 290 against lefties, so he puts a pretty good swing on what was a good pitch.
Well, there's still
a moment in the game right now.
Yeah, still a lot of game to be played here, but to me, this is the at-bat of the night and could end up being the at-bat of the night. Not because Jed Lowry is the scariest hitter on this team, indeed because the scariest hitter on this team is waiting on deck. So you want to get Lowry here, put this inning to rest, and then that's the double benefit is Davis has to lead off the next inning. What you can't afford is to have Davis come up this inning with runners on base, or you just don't want him coming up this inning at all.
Yeah, that would be ideal. So big test here for Martin Perez in the 5th inning with a couple of outs.
Inside to Lowry, ball 1. Lowry has walked and singled. And Lowry has had good career numbers against Martin Perez. Was 11 for 29 against him coming in, and you can add a hit. Takes that one just off the plate, 2-0.
That call is not there tonight. Very frustrating for Martin. You know, it probably is a couple of inches off the plate, but it's certainly a pitch that we have seen called a strike before. You see that ball right on the corner. That's the frustration there for Martin. He's got to be careful too, because Jed Lowry has been very good in these spots with runners in scoring position. He came into tonight hitting .329. Nice changeup. Oh, wow.
3-0.
Wow, that was a terrific 2-0 pitch. Almost frustration from Martin. Not only that this didn't get called, when you bear down and you throw that good of a pitch, and especially an off-speed pitch on a 2-0 count, you're almost frustrated that the hitter didn't swing at it. Like, you want him to swing there, and you want him to put the ball in play, because he's not going to hit it hard. Tough break there for Martin Perez.
Lance Barksdale got an earful after that last call from the Rangers dugout.
I thought that was you.
Also got an earful from me. There's a strike. 3-1.
Danny just as frustrated as well for his pitcher out there. He knows how hard he's working. He knows that he's been hitting some spots, and feels like the calls haven't been there.
Runners with their leads in the 3-1. And there's ball 4. So they're loaded up. And indeed, the leverage in this spot just got a little more intense, because here comes Chris Davis.
No doubt, but there is another way to look at this. Couple of strikeouts tonight for Chris Davis against Martin Perez. He has been worse against lefties than righties. Now, he can certainly square up a mistake, but Martin can bear down here, kind of collect himself, and make his pitches. He certainly is capable of getting Chris Davis out in this big spot.
Quite the meeting right now out at the mound. You look at Davis with now 5 consecutive games hitting a home run against the Rangers. He has just 1 grand slam in his career, but it really, I mean, the little run he's on right now certainly doesn't make one comfortable, but it's the career numbers that he has had against the Rangers. And it's just so stunning. 23 career home runs.
And his numbers don't jump up dramatically when he faces the same pitcher for the 3rd time in the game, which is something that we've been keeping an eye on. There is what he's done against the Rangers over the course of his career in the 48 games. But when he has faced a pitcher for the 4th time, he's hitting just .267. There's not a huge jump there necessarily for Davis.
Well, taking a look at the bases, Simeon at 3rd base had the 2-out single. Pinder at 2nd base singled right after him, and now Lowry with the walk over at 1st to load him up. This will be the 30th pitch of the inning, and Davis scoops it out to right field. Well positioned though. Gallo tucks it away, and the inning is done. So the A's leave him loaded. Big spot for Perez. He gets out of trouble. Halfway there tonight. Rangers leading it 3-1. 3-1 Rangers lead. Great job by Martin Perez to get out of any trouble in that 5th inning. Now our Kubota power stats. Oakland starters have allowed 4 more earned runs just twice in the last 24 games. They have been awfully good. Now Edwin Jackson has allowed 3 earned runs so far tonight. A Chirinos 3-run homer back in the 2nd. Upstairs to Tochi for ball 1. Tochi batting 9th. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 2nd. There's a strike from Jackson. Leave things at 1-1.
I'd be curious to see how much the Rangers would like to see Carlos Tochi attempt some of those bunt hits. It was a sacrifice attempt that first time when he ended up with a fielder's choice. I heard him talk about that a ton with him. And now that he's going to be in the lineup pretty regularly, they may have some expectations there. I'm sure they don't want to force the situation and make him feel like he has to do it. But based on the kind of hitter that Bandy thinks he can be, high side, he said gap to gap hitter, they know he's not going to have a lot of power. So more of a line drive contact guy. Had a couple of base hits last night on ground balls to the left side. It's something to keep an eye on while he gets his playing time out in center field.
2-2. Great opportunity certainly for Tochi. First couple of games of this regular playing time, he's looked pretty good. Hits this ball out to left field. It drops in, base hit. Well, he is on to start the 5th inning.
Take a look at this slider that kind of hung up in the zone. Interesting pitch selection from Edwin Jackson. The previous pitch had similar action and stayed up, and he's got a good fastball, but he gave Tochi a chance. And the slower slider that he hung up in the zone. Talked about the great batting average against his fastball, and I say great in his favor. Just 0.94. The slider has been good. You're facing a bottom of the order hitter. The idea of flipping sliders in the strike zone, not always a recommended game plan. Tochi will take it.
Two with a ground out and a strikeout so far. The DH tonight, leading it off again. Drew, of course, always a threat to run into one and knock it over the fence. 18 home runs this year for Chu. But in a whole 0-2. One of the stories for Chu this year was that modified leg kick that he added at spring training. Hoping to add a little balance and help him see the ball a little bit. And it's the first time he had used any kind of leg kick in 18 years, he said, going back to when he was basically a kid. It seems to have worked well for him this season. 0-2. Bounces up there. Tochi will head to second base. So a wild pitch. Tochi in scoring position now.
It's a really good read by Carlos Tochi. Secondary leads are really important. Sometimes it's very easy to get lazy. You take your secondary lead, you keep an eye on the pitch, and as soon as you see it right there, he took off. Watching your secondary. As soon as it's in the ground, you go. Good read by Carlos. 1-2, see it go. Seems like something that's simple that wouldn't have that much impact, but the secondary lead gets your momentum going in the right direction. The idea of taking an extra base on a base hit, the secondary lead plays a huge part in that.
Inside, 2-2. Rangers got all 3 runs in the second. 3 runs on 6 hits so far tonight. And Chu goes down swinging. We get a piece of that one. Goes down swinging. 1-1. Well, looking ahead to Sunday, August 5th, Rangers and Orioles, the game. That's a 2:05 first pitch, and then afterward, country music group Lone Star going to perform a post-game concert presented by Budweiser. Tickets are available, as well as directions on how you can watch the concert from the field. Just go to texasrangers.com/concerts. One out now for Rougned Odor. Edwin Jackson getting a little closer to 90 pitches for the night, and a swing and a miss by Odor, and strike 1. So a little action in their bullpen. Our Southwest bullpen live look. Yusmeiro Petit getting ready.
So even though the pitch count is getting up there, that's back-to-back sliders that Edwin Jackson just threw that Chu first chased out of the zone. Then he's able to get Rougned Odor to do the same. So the slider still live with some good bite on it, despite the fact that he's getting ready to throw his 88th pitch.
That one a swing and a miss, and then off the glove of Fagley. It had the look a little bit of a foul ball, but it was a miss, and then Fagley just boxed it. So that is a passed ball.
What happened here? It looks like you're right. He just, here's the swing, just could not get the glove all the way over, and it hit off the end of the glove. And yeah, strange, but I believe that's his first pass ball of the year. It is.
So now just 90 feet away. Infield pulled in. Odor struck out and grounded out.
Good take there by Rugi. We saw him chase one like that first pitch of the at bat. I don't mean to swing back to analytics light, but swing percentage was something that we talked about that measures how often a hitter chases pitches out of the strike zone. It's a really good number to keep an eye on. Rougned Odor a couple of years ago peaked out at 42% of pitches out of the zone that he was swinging at, down to 35 this year, and that is right in line with 2015. So for Rugi, a lot of improvement in that area, something he has been working very hard at.
So he peaked out at that number. You peaked out.
Get a little excited
at that number.
Well, you'd love to see the improvement. That's the part you get excited about. That's not an easy thing to do, is to improve your plate discipline, especially when you have the kind of power that Odor has and has shown over the last couple of seasons. You know, we think, okay, he hit 30, that's great. Maybe we'll see 30, you know, he's thinking, can I hit 40? And it's a lot of hitters think they're never satisfied with where they are.
This ball smashed into right field. That's a base hit. Gets Tochi to the plate. And it's 4-1 Rangers. Odor drives in his 28th run of the year.
Good at bat here by Rougned Odor. He does a nice job of laying off the pitch previously. Forces Edwin Jackson to come in the zone a little bit more on this 2-2 pitch, and he smacks it pretty hard into right field. So great job with the infield in. And it looks like apparently he may have knocked Edwin Jackson out of this game.
So indeed, the right-hander is done. Rangers with a man on, 1 out. They're trying to build in this 5th inning. Petit coming on for Oakland.
plate presence of Rougned Odor, and we've talked about his conversations with former teammate Mike Napoli, his work being done before games with Tony Beasley. But in talking to Rugi today in the dugout during batting practice, he told me Shin-Soo Choo has been instrumental in changing his approach, in his pitch selection being so much better. He wanted everyone to know the impact that Choo has had on this turnaround, and he said especially important was also the fact that Choo preached that it was baby steps. It wasn't going to happen overnight, but if he stuck with it, that he would be able to change things around and make a turn for the better, and it looks like he has.
That's really impressive, because it's one thing, listen, guys can share knowledge all day long. As Odor takes off, and that one fouled off. Well, I could tell you something all day long, but doesn't mean that necessarily you're going to be able to do it, and especially when it comes to something like plate discipline. And I'm sure there's some tips that Choo can give and what you might be looking for out of a pitcher's hand, but you're already taking a successful big leaguer and trying to add that to his game. That is not easy to do. So credit Rougned Odor, and it's cool to hear him give credit to his teammates, and understandably so, but he deserves a lot of credit for being able to implement that game plan.
Well, thanks. Now I don't know who to credit.
I mean, really, probably should just be me anyway.
Choo could get credit, had good advice. He could get credit. He implemented it well. Golly. Not only brought it to our attention.
Yeah.
I suppose she should get something for that. Well, this one inside, and again boxed by Fagley. Odor was running. That's a stolen base, and he continues to run the bases well. Looks like Fagley just getting up a little too quickly, maybe thinking about throwing before he had it.
I don't think he would have had much of a chance anyway, but you're right, he did not receive that ball well at all. You can see it land in the heel of the glove, and he could have been rushing, because you can see that big jump that Rugi got, and certainly Josh Fagley can see it as well.
I'm going to credit Rugi's jump.
I agree. Credit the great camera work that we could break that down, because we were able to see it. Making it rain with credit.
Inside. 2-1. Well, Elvis double back of the first inning. He grounded out to third last time up. At least to the third baseman, Chapman. Four to 1 Rangers. And Petit takes a look back there at second base.
There's the numbers for the season. Game number 48. He's been very good here for the Athletics, and you also see at the bottom there what the pitch arsenal looks like. Fastball, cutter, changeup for the right-hander. Fastball, not a hard one, just sits around 89 miles an hour.
Whoa, this time a little more intent. Making that a close play on Odor.
Put a lot of throws from the A's at bases tonight. Edwin Jackson seemed like he just would not leave Carlos Tocci alone at first. Throws at second. You've been keeping track of that, right? You got the number.
Got them all down here, yeah. Add them up real quick. 2-1, and this one out to right field. Could be trouble. Nope, hanging up. And Piscotty able to get underneath it. Odor tags. He'll move to third. But they're 2 away. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in again with Dana Larson. All right, thanks, Dana. Adrian Beltre 1 for 2 with a double. Odor is at third base. And as Dana reporting, the great season for JD Martinez continues for the Boston Red Sox. And their great year overall as a team continues as this one turns away Adrian Beltre. Boston had a 5-game lead in the American League East going into play today. Beltre, the flare out over second. That's a base hit, gets a run home. Odor scores, and it's 5-1 Rangers.
Well, Adrian doing what he has to do in the spot. Did not hit it particularly hard. Caught it off the end of the bat, but able to elevate it and get it into the outfield. Good look at the four-seam grip from Petit, and Adrian stays on that pitch just enough. As Lowry just stands there and watches it drop into the outfield for the RBI single.
3,119 hits for Adrian Beltre. 5-1 Rangers lead. Because yesterday they led the ball game 10-2 going into the 7th.
I got to bring up old stuff.
Just saying, they got off to a good start yesterday, off to a pretty good start in this one. Jurickson Profar 0 for 1 with a walk. And Jurickson has scored a run. That was back in the 2nd.
Petit's actually been very good against lefties this year. Just a 182 batting average against for the right-hander, and a lot of that, more often than not, has to do with the changeup. Good location of the fastball there, though, down and away.
Now Profar waiting on an 0-2 pitch. Not going to take the bait on that one. 1-2 the count. There's a 3-run second. 2 runs here in the 5th. Not quite done yet in this 5th inning either. Petit delivers. And a pop up left side of the infield. Chapman from third base wants it. And that will do it in the bottom of the 5th. Rangers add 2 more, though, and we go to the 6th inning. It's 5-1.
Has done this evening for the Rangers. You see him there striking out Chris Davis. Striking out Chris Davis once again. There he is getting Canna. There's a good fastball located in. That was 96 miles an hour. We saw some really good velocities. Got Chapman in there as well. And it's been a good run here so far for Martin. 5 innings, just a 1 run allowed. He has struck out 4 Athletics. And up to this point, exactly what the Rangers have needed.
Well, he worked himself out of that bases loaded jam last inning by retiring Chris Davis on a line out. That was certainly a huge out in this game. He used 30 pitches, though, in that 5th inning, so we'll see how he bounces back here in the 6th. The 1-0 to Olsen in there, and that'll even things up at 1-1. Well, it was 100 degrees at first pitch. It's since cooled down a little bit, down to 92 at the moment. Probably caught that cool breeze coming through the booth.
So do you think, I mean, it's pretty much going to be hotter after we leave tomorrow night, right? We're down to Houston. Can't imagine it's any cooler there, right?
Pop up down the third baseline foul.
It'll be thicker. It'll at least be thicker.
Well, it'll be less comfortable because, yeah, the humidity down there only amplifies the issue. Arizona should be nice and toasty as well.
Yeah.
Well, 2 balls and 2 strikes here to Matt Olson. Pitch count for Perez elevated with that last half inning. And so at this point, the Rangers keeping a little closer eye on him. This will be his 95th pitch of the game. And Olsen rolls it down to first. Nice play by Profar. 1 away in the 6th inning. Well, Wednesday, August 8th, it'll be the next Texas Chili Company $1 hot dog night. So circle that one on the calendar. Rangers and Mariners, a 105 game. Tickets available at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. So it's technically a Texas Chili Company $1 hot dog day. It's a 105 game. But we have that one to look forward to. Piscotty takes one a little bit low for a ball. Piscotty is popped up and flied out to left field. 0 for 2. Tried to hold up, did he? Well, apparently he did. It's Ted Barrett, our crew chief, down there at first base. With his hat rested very carefully on top of his head. Quick movement, that might just tumble right off.
High hat.
He's a high hatter.
Yeah. Could be the head. Whenever we get new hats, we start a season or go to a new team, kind of how mine sat on my head. It's so brutal. I don't know what it is. Shape of your head. But he's got the crease too on the top. Did you notice that?
Mm-hmm. Old bouncer school. Back over the mound. Tough play. Odor with the bare hand. The throw. Got him at first base. What a stretch by Profar. But Rougned Odor with a little magic at second base again.
This is really becoming a lot of fun to watch with Rougned Odor and his defense. You see the big smile. I think even Rugi was a little bit impressed with what he did. Now, Bob Melvin has asked for a challenge here, but take a look. First it was the bare hand of Elvis Andrus, but Rougned Odor took over and makes an unbelievable throw on the run. And that is going to be really, really close. How about Piscotty landing right on top of the bag? You don't see that too often. You try to hit the front part of the bag. Let's watch him here. He's hitting. Man, I tell you what, cylinder of the glove. Now his foot was probably there before the ball hit the back of Jurickson Profar's glove, but that's not the rule. Inside the cylinder of his glove. And man, that is really, really close. I'm going to guess that will not be turned over.
Let's see one more look. We are cylinder. Yeah, I think that one. I don't know what to think anymore, but that one's so close. Yeah. I'm hopeful that because it is so close, it'll be just too difficult to overturn.
So this one, my guess is this one takes a little while because of that. Now the only thing, that was a great play. The only thing there, Elvis Andrus has the better angle coming in a little bit. Oh wow, that didn't take very long at all. Well, that was a great play by Rugi. Nonetheless, it took an incredible throw, which he made. Elvis's momentum going toward first base a little bit more, but it's such a reaction play. Certainly can't fault Rugi for taking it. a regular speed look at this thing. Watch Elvis Andrews come across, and you think about where he would be to make that throw and where Rugi was. So Elvis actually would have been closer to the bag. Now it would have taken a perfect throw, and Rugi Odor did make a perfect throw in that spot. Unfortunate. That one ended up getting turned over.
Now a ground ball to the hole. It's short, and that one is through. So Chapman delivers with a base hit. Back-to-back singles now for Oakland. Well, we mentioned the pitch count for Perez now at 100. Alex Claudio has been loosening out in the bullpen. I believe ready to go if needed. See Jeff Bannister and Doug Brocail having a little conversation up on that top step.
See if Martin can pull that trick. We haven't seen a double play yet, have we, from him? Really be an ideal time. Now Kenna is a guy that has only hit into 5 double plays this year, and his ground ball rate, that's 39%, so that's better than league average. League average is 43% this year, so he doesn't hit the ball on the ground as much as your average big leaguer, but Martin Perez has been pretty good in these spots, and the last 2 hitters reached on ground ball base hit, so he's done a good job of keeping the ball on the ground today.
Checks in on Piscotty. The pitch hits the bottom of the zone, and it is 1-1 on Canna.
It's a good pitch. You're not going to put a backdoor curveball in a better spot than that one. And again, you throw those really good pitches, especially down and away to righties, and it's a beautiful pitch and it's fun to watch, but you almost wish the hitter would have swung, because you don't think he would have put the ball in play with any kind of authority.
This one shanked over to the right side, makes it a ball and 2 strikes on Canna. 8th place hitter. Don't be fooled by where guys hit in the order. The bottom of the order for Oakland has dealt the Rangers fits in this series. And not tonight. Martin has done a good job of keeping the A's in check to a run on just 7 hits so far. One, 2. And that one popped foul out of play.
So 104 pitches now for Martin Perez, but his 104th pitch at 95 miles per hour. This is certainly a good sign as well to see him carrying that good velocity late into the game. And this next pitch at number 105 will tie his season high. He threw 105 pitches in his last start against the Cleveland Indians. Also at the time was 5 1/3. So hopefully Martin can get an out here, get above that mark from his last start.
Oh, did not go.
See the crease at the top of his hat?
Yep.
That's really old school. My dad used to do that. Not a great look.
You know what I think that is, though? I think that might be from putting the headsets on the replays.
Oh, you think so?
Maybe.
That's a crease, man. I think that was. Now look at.
Well, maybe not.
Irwin, right? I mean, I think that's intentionally done. You know. But listen, they could say, listen, you know, kids nowadays, they keep the sticker on the hat, turn it sideways.
This ball hit sharply foul. 2-2. Two men on base for Oakland. Martin has thus far managed to avoid that big hit by an A's hitter. Bouncer up the middle. There it could be 2. Odor steps on the bag 1. On to first. Double play. Perez really needed it, and he got it at the right time. That should end his night, and what a night it was.
A great job, and the Ranger defense steps up and does an incredible job themselves. Double play number 101 on the season. They came in 5th in baseball. Perfectly done by Rugi Odor. Great job by Jurickson Profar. Congratulations, Martin Perez.
Bottom of the 6th inning, Rangers up by 4. Our WinStar World Casino and Resort leaderboard. Talk about young players with power. They go 24 and younger. And the number of home runs they've hit this year, the Rangers 60 home runs by the young ones. Most in Major League Baseball. The A's with 30, half the number, and they are 4th in Major League Baseball.
And as you look to the future, these are the kind of things that get you excited, as those young players do a great job with the long ball. The idea that they will continue to get better, not just improving on their home runs, but their all-around offensive abilities. Offensive makes it seem like, you know, you would be offended by it.
Maybe somebody is. Chris Hatcher on in relief here.
A bit of a high batting average against for the veteran at 292. The strikeout to walk ratio, not exactly where you'd want to see it. It's been kind of a middle of the road year for Hatcher.
Third pitcher of the night, Yusmeiro Petit, came on to get the final 2 outs last inning. Edwin Jackson went just 4 1/3 this evening. In fact, Jackson gave up 4 runs on 7 hits before being lifted.
He was going for his 100th win, which he will not get, obviously, tonight. Not this year.
Well, mound visit, quick conversation out there on the mound. I'll correct myself, 5 runs allowed by Edwin Jackson tonight in his 4 1/3. All that math yesterday. A little fatigued with that math muscle today. 1-1. Ooh, borderline strike call right there on Gallo. 1-2 the count. Joey has walked and singled.
We haven't really seen these corners called. That one looked like it might have been just off. That split finger that Hatcher throws. It's kind of interesting. I noticed this earlier. Keeping an eye on Begley. He's using multiple signs with nobody on base. Let's see if we see it here. Usually if there's no runner on base, you're just going to put down one sign, but they're using touches and then multiple signs afterwards. So that's a pretty intricate system with no runner at second base.
Swing and a miss. Gallo strikes out to start the 6th inning. Are you implying something?
Well, there's only one explanation for this, and that is that you're concerned. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that to the Rangers in this ballpark, but that you may have a concern that somehow in the ballpark they're picking up signs. This has happened in Cleveland before. This has happened in Chicago with the White Sox, where you've seen teams do this over the years. Now, it could be where Bob Melvin just wants his pitchers to do this all the time, so it's never an issue when you feel like you need to do it, right?
I was going to suggest that, right? So it's simple.
But it's cumbersome. I mean, it really is. It should be simple once you're used to it. But doing touches and signs, like touches could be a bunch of different things. You know, it could be where it's just, okay, here's the indicator. Whatever the touches are, you know, because okay, if I hit my chest, that means we're using second sign. If I start with my chest, that means now we're using second sign. And I just made that up, but let's see. Fastball. Let's see if he throws a fastball. I thought I'd get this on first guess. Oh my goodness.
That's a rather soft liner.
Wow.
Out to shortstop, with the second baseman Lowry makes the play.
Sometimes you just got to pat yourself on the back, because I know you're not going to give me any credit. All the credit that's been getting thrown around here, you didn't give me any. And I could be wrong there too. You never know. But it obviously was second sign.
Sure.
Now, what was second sign? But you saw he went chest first, and but it could be, like we said, just that they want them to do that all the time. This is a lot, though. But if you're not having an issue, all right, let's see. No, look at that. Well, what do you think? Touch only.
Yeah, I think.
So you think it's just
I think
the
all
touches?
the signs underneath.
Fake.
Fake signs.
I think they're fake signs. All fake. Look at all the fakeness.
So again, I don't know.
No, but he's doing it. It's not fake.
But maybe no sign is a sign.
Could be. This is a lot. This is pretty fascinating, quite honestly, that they would put that much effort in, and again with nobody on. Now, again, they may do that because mound visits are limited, and so they want to be able to have their system. So if it starts with a touch, that tells you then what you're doing afterwards. Then you don't ever have to really go out and get back on the same page, or at least you shouldn't have to. If you're using it all the time, it should become a pretty steady system. Right? No sign there usually means throw the same pitch. No. Ooh. Was the pitch before a fastball?
Don't know.
Could be. Registered as a cutter, but that could have been kind of that four-seam natural cutter. All right, we started with the mask there. Finished with the thumb sticking out sideways. I'm at a loss now. I should have just quit when I was ahead. Felt like we nailed that one. Even if we didn't, felt like we nailed it.
Just walk away.
Just be done with it. But because we were showing the signs, I felt like I had to keep going, and now it's just turned into an absolute disaster. I don't know what's happening here.
I feel like we're watching one of those Planet Earth nature movies, and we're trying to
split finger
decipher how they communicate.
Told you. I got that part. I think I have that part.
Whoa.
I think. We'll guess. I think start with the chest second sign, because he went after that. He went with the chest, touched around, and then he went 1-4, and then a bunch of other signs. So if it was second sign 4 because he didn't throw a straight changeup, he throws a split finger. I guess that he was throwing a split finger there based on the signs, and he did. Now I could be wrong, but you got a couple of them right. There's guys that are great at this. I am not one of them. Like hitters that watch this kind of stuff while they're sitting out on second base, you know, kind of trying to pick up on the signs. But again, this is a pretty intricate system that they're using.
2 outs here, 2-2 the count to Calhoun. Now it's a full count. All right, let's see what we got here, Smarty Pants.
All right, let's see. Touch of chest, second sign. Two-one. Oh yeah. Okay, so that definitely 1-2.
So
it could be two-seam fastball because he didn't throw a straight curveball, does he? That was.
It was a breaking ball. Yep. And he struck out Calhoun. All right. Well, that's not a very good system if you cracked it. 1-2-3 go the Rangers in the 6th inning, and out of the 7th, 5-1. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Shiner's Sea Salt and Lime Summer Lager. A 5-1. And now to the 7th inning. Rangers with the lead. You have to be careful. Sunday, August 5th. Rangers and Orioles, 2:05 ball game. First 15,000 fans are going to get a Ted Williams First Rangers manager bobblehead, courtesy of Sweet Baby Ray's. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. All right, this is where the Oakland A's have really flexed their muscle this season. 7th inning on, so Corey Guerin out of the bullpen. First man in for the Rangers after a great start by Martin Perez.
You see the pitch arsenal, lots of two-seam fastballs, lots of sliders. So mix that changeup in there as well, Will Guerin. But the sliders to go-to pitch, just a 130 batting average against it this year. That is where he registers most of his strikeouts, 27 of his strikeouts, and he's got 36 on the season. 27 of those have come on the slider.
Josh Fagley, 9th place hitter. And he takes one off the edge of the plate. 2-0. Now Martin Perez, really nice job in this one tonight. Martin managed to get through the 6 innings on 107 pitches. Give up just the 1 run on 7 hits, walked 3, struck out 4. There's a strike, 2-1.
It's only been 6 1/3 so far here, 6 games for Corey Guerin as a Ranger, but he has been really good so far. No runs allowed, 5 strikeouts, and just 1 hit allowed in his 6 1/3 since he's put on that Ranger uniform.
Finds a corner, 2-2.
Good backdoor two-seam fastball. Fagley didn't like it, but that pitch absolutely came back and caught the outside corner. That's the late movement that Guerin gets from the arm angle. Watch this pitch. See that lower arm angle, and watch this thing just tail back right on the corner, drilling Robinson Chirinos' glove.
Got a breaking ball off the plate. Oh, full count. Fagley is flat out to right, grounded out to third, 0 for 2. Oakland A's 2 games back in the wild card. And this one, soft liner that's through into center field for a base hit. Fagley aboard.
Time now for our Coors Light refreshing finish, and it was a refreshing finish for Martin Perez as he got himself that ground ball double play, first one of the night to end the 6th inning. Good job by Rougned Odor to step on the back and throw that ball over to Jurickson Profar, and certainly Martin Perez was excited about that. It was near the end of the night for him, and he was able to get that double play so it could be 6 complete innings with just a 1 run allowed. So 2 of the 3 now for Martin Perez since he came off the DL. Have been very strong starts, but overall he has thrown the baseball well. He has looked really sharp.
Simeon takes a strike. 2 for 3 today, leading the way as you look at the in-game box score for Oakland. Chris Davis, Mark Canha, the only A's without a base hit so far tonight. 1 run on the 8 hits. Guerin delivers. This one lifted out to right field. Plenty of space out there, and Gallo has it 1 away.
That was something we really haven't talked about much. Joey Gallo getting the starts in right field, why Nomar Mazara is on the DL, and that gives Willie Calhoun an opportunity in left, and he's looked pretty good there. He had a couple of issues on a ground ball that he tried to barehand that 1 ball, didn't he, a couple of nights ago? But overall, as far as the angles go, right, that's the thing you really look for. That's where it gets different compared to left field. Ball's going to come off the bat different. It's going to curve. It's going to angle a little bit different. And on the fly balls and the line drives, Joey Gallo, I thought so far has looked pretty good in right field.
All right, we've seen this already in this series where Nick Martini pinch hits He comes in defensively late in the game, and that is the case here. So he replaces Chad Pinder. Good numbers for Martini. Man on, 1 out. It's 2 for 2 in the series. And the double he's driven into. Comes up empty here. The count, no balls and 2 strikes. One and 2. So Guerin, like a couple of the A's relievers that we have seen, not feeling any pressure to work quickly either. He's a guy who's on his own program a little bit. And he rushes that one in there for strike 3 called. So Martini down looking. He does give us, though, a little extra time now. We hear from our friends at Kia.
At Kia, get America's best value backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
So 2 away, and Jed Lowry on his way to the plate. Lowry has reached all 3 times he has been up. Had the base hit in the 3rd inning. Also walked his first time up. Walked again in the 5th inning. And he takes ball 1. See that logo on Lowry's left sleeve. The elephant on top of the baseball. Tyler Kapner of the New York Times. He's a great one. Wrote a story the other day about the A's. And, being in this playoff race, it's a great story. And to use that elephant, I thought pretty cleverly. The Oakland A's, I like that elephant bouncing on a baseball on their jersey sleeve. Not supposed to be where they are, but somehow, quite improbably, they make it work. And it's true. Look, they had high hopes, we mentioned earlier, going into this offseason, that things could get better. They were making strides on their rebuild, if you will. But they did not expect to find themselves here 2 games out of the wild card.
And it's not surprising that Tyler would kind of use that analogy with the A's. He is a uniform savant. The history of baseball uniforms. He's as good as anybody. I've known Tyler for a long time. He's got a passion for it. He loves talking about old uniforms. His favorite. He's a little partial to San Diego Brown. Anybody who's wore baby blue at any point. Franchise history, but you want to talk uniforms, he is the go-to guy.
Now, are you an opinionated uniform guy? Like some people get really fired up about it.
The only thing I get upset about, not upset, that I have a passion about, is when I see a Yankee fan wearing a home pinstripe jersey with the name on the back. It's a disgrace to all of mankind. But other than that, no real strong opinions. You can argue what are the best ones. You like the classic look of the old English D in Detroit. Really hasn't changed since Ty Cobb wore it. That's kind of cool. But I don't get as worked up as others may.
(3-1). And there's a walk to Lowry. 3rd time tonight he has drawn the walk. And so Guerin doing what he did not want to do, which is allow Chris Davis to get to the plate. Let's say get to the plate this inning. Because now they'll have to contend with him with 2 base runners out there. Now the Rangers lead by 4. Davis is 0 for 3 so far. A couple of strikeouts and then the fly out to right field. Davis yesterday was 0 for 5 before hitting that 3-run homer in the 10th inning. Got him out in front of that one.
Might have been sitting fastball based on that swing. And I was telling you earlier about the Corey Guerin slider and how good it has been for him this year. I told you the 130 batting average against, and I'm sure everybody remembers the definition of expected batting average as we talked about yesterday. That's just 116. So it's expected to be even better than it is.
High fly ball. Well struck to center field. Tochi is back. You've got to be kidding me. On to Greens Hill. Chris Davis has hit his 26th home run of the year, and he makes it a 1-run game. Don't know what it is, but he likes Rangers pitching, and he always has.
This really is amazing to watch what he has done here. Now, Robinson Chirinos was trying to get this slider down and away, and it just spun and sat in the middle of the plate. Chris Davis was all over it. That is now 6 games in a row which he's homered against the Rangers. 107 miles an hour off the bat and projected distance of 426 feet. So that's just one short of, was it one short of Ken Griffey Jr.? Do you have 7 in a row? Or do you have 9?
Junior had 7 in a row.
7 games in a row in which he homered against the Rangers. We showed you that graphic earlier. I'm all about just not even giving him that opportunity tomorrow at this point. At least if the game is close.
Foul ball off of Chirinos' face mask. Boy, that always bothers me to see it. Man. Chirinos will take a moment to gather himself. Indicates he's just fine.
Take a look here. 2-seam fastball with some good movement that Olsen gets under, and yeah, just catches Robinson right on that mask. And we talk about this a lot in catchers' preferences, and got enough catchers tell me that when you wear the hockey mask, certainly some pluses and minuses. You feel like you can see a little bit better, but that sometimes your head absorbs a little bit more on a foul tip. Now, if you're wearing the 2-piece mask, what we saw Jonathan Lucroy wearing yesterday, in that situation, more often than not, the mask pops off. And so the mask ends up absorbing more of the impact on a foul tip like that. But because that hockey style mask stays on you, guys have told me that you feel that one a little bit more in your head. But they love the vision you get with the hockey mask. That seems to be the big difference.
Strike called on Olsen makes it 1-2. Yeah, that's a tough one to balance, but you just worry every time. And again, just given his career and missing an entire season recovering from concussions. 1-2 pitch. Olsen stays alive. Well, 3-run homer this inning by Chris Davis has gotten Oakland back in the lead. And Oakland, we mentioned it yesterday, they have dominated the 7th inning in Major League Baseball this year. Popped up, foul ground, and that one will end up just out of reach. Yesterday, Oakland scored 3 runs in the 7th. And then 4 runs in the 8th inning. Monday's game, it was a 6-run 7th inning, 2 runs in the 8th. This one a little high. It's 2-2. Rangers led 5-1. Front of that homer. Guerin with a long look in, the 2-2 pitch, and that one is up and away.
Corey Guerin's working hard to try to get that two-seam fastball up and in. The last two, Robinson Trinos was giving him that target. That means he has to start it in off the plate and try to get it to come back and catch the inside corner. But he's missed the last couple. We'll see if Robbie tries to get him to do it one more time or if they go to something else.
With a swing and a miss, strike 3. So Olsen strikes out. The inning is done. But Guerin allows the 3-run homer to Chris Davis. Takes us to the bottom of the 7th inning with the Rangers up by 1.
Unfortunately, Chris Davis is built not only for baseball, but it seems like he's built for baseball against the Texas Rangers as he hits that home run last inning to dead center field. A 3-run shot for Davis that has brought the Oakland A's within 1 run here. And so perhaps the Rangers can get a run or 2 back and maybe try to separate themselves once again. They have been in control of this game for most of it, but all of a sudden it is close again.
Carlos Tocci will lead things off in this bottom of the 7th inning. Nick Martini stays in the game in left field. The 0-2. Whoa. How did he get a piece of that one?
Wow.
Talk about going fishing.
It was 94 up and away, pretty far off the plate. Nice job by Tocci. I mean, now he didn't have to fight that off because it was, clearly a ball, but he saw it as a potential strike and does a good job of keeping the at bat alive. If you're a pitcher and you see guys swing at a pitch like that 0-2, you expand the zone even more. As Hatcher tried to do with the breaking pitch.
Well, Tocci has a hit, has scored a run. 1 for 2. Takes outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Yesterday, an unusual loss for the Rangers. A sort of once in a franchise history kind of loss. Leading by 8 runs going into the 7th inning. Saw that evaporate in the 9th, or by the 9th inning anyway. And then lost in extra innings. First time that had ever happened in this franchise's history. As Tochi swings and misses. And there's one away. Team had gone, counting the time in Washington, gone 471-0 in games where they led by 8 or more into the 7th. Well, Hatcher is done. Retires all 4 he had faced. And with 1 out here in the 7th inning, Buchter's coming on for Oakland. Who's in, who's out pitching change, sponsored by In-N-Out Burger. So Buchter comes on here for Oakland. He's the man in. Chris Hatcher, he's out. Retired all 4 men he faced, including a couple of strikeouts. And with 1 out here in the 7th inning, it's the top of the order. Shin-Soo Choo, who's 0 for 3 so far tonight.
They bring in Buchter, of course, to face the lefties. He's been good in these spots. 174 batting average against lefties. There are the overall numbers. Good strikeout to walk ratio. You see the fastball, curveball, cutter repertoire at the bottom. ERA, of course, very respectable as well. But he has struggled against righties. And so if the Rangers can find a way to get some runners on, extend the inning, get to Elvis Andrus and Adrian Beltre, they'd have a chance to add on against Buchter. That's because righties have hit 378 against him.
One of just 2 Rangers without a hit so far tonight, as you can see in the in-game box score. That one bounces away. 2-1 the count. It's a 1-run game. Now the A's go with quite a shift against Choo. Leave Chapman all by himself on the left side of the infield, and everybody else on the right. Lowry, the second baseman, plays a normal second baseman position, or close to it. It's the shortstop Simeon who has swung way over into the outfield grass and right. And there's strike 3 called. Choo goes down looking. Manage your dream team in franchise mode. Get weekly stats, roster updates, and more with RBI Baseball 18 Now available at RBIGame.com. It's rated E for everyone. Here's Odor, 1 for 3. Singled in a run in the 5th inning and then scored a run. And he takes low, ball 1.
Rookie's doing a really nice job against lefties this year. 291 batting average coming into tonight. And you see overall that he has gotten that average up to 260 now. And that OPS at 738, that puts him right about, maybe a little bit above league average this year. It's been quite the turnaround for the Rangers second baseman.
In the air. Will it stay in fair territory? No. So 1-1.
Last year, Rookie hit just 145 against left-handed pitching. The year before that, 270 or 269. It's been good to see what he has done lately. He's hanging in there a little bit longer against lefties, not chasing as many breaking balls out of the zone. You're still going to chase some. Everybody does. But there has been some big improvements, not only from last year, but even from within this year for Odor in these spots.
I'd love to get him on and get Andrews to the plate this inning. Buchter's 2-1. Just misses. 3-1 the count. And this is the thing to me. Rookie, you know, when he's not going well, he's offering it that.
Yep.
But lately, that doesn't even phase him.
It's the confidence in a 2-1 count, knowing you're not going to swing at a pitcher's pitch, knowing that a lefty is going to predominantly throw you away. You can get locked into maybe the outer half at the most or middle, and anything beyond that you can go ahead and let it go. And he has the confidence to do that right now because he's not pressing. He looks unbelievably calm throughout most of his at-bats.
Buchter's 3-1, and that one is high, ball 4. So he walks. Odor indeed is on now. And Andrews gets to the plate now. He has doubled already tonight. Swinging a good bat. Grand slam yesterday, the home run the day before. Power and RBI numbers at the bottom of the screen don't maybe look as good as you might expect for Elvis Andrews. It's because he missed 2 months on the disabled list, his first and only trip to the DL in his career.
Had some bad luck with the pitch that hit him. He's had some bad luck since he's gotten off the DL. Some hard hit balls, we mentioned, they're starting to fall in, but they haven't been kind of at least at the rate that we've seen in the past. I mean, he hit that ball, think about his last at bat, that hard line out to right field. He's been scoring some balls up, but the batting average on balls in play a little bit lower than what we have seen from Elvis over the course of his career.
Extended his hitting streak to 7 games with his double earlier tonight. Moved. Take a look at Odor, who does have a stolen base tonight, and in fact has 9 stolen bases for the season. Ooh, quick toss this time, and they've got him picked off. The throw to second, bobbled, and Odor's in there. That's why you stay with it.
Smart read by Rugi too, as he was going hard. He read the throw, saw that it was high, started to change direction, but then realized that ball might get away from Marcus Simeon, and it did. Look at this. I mean, the fact that he even got up after that slide is pretty amazing. But watch that throw, recognize where the ball was going. That's incredible. How many times do you see a guy dive back to first base, just continue to dive and get tagged out? He started going back, started diving into first, and basically stopped and got up and started running to second. That's amazing. And then read that ball right there on top of it. I'm telling you what. Pretty exciting play there for Rugi.
Yeah, that is
about it, something to be proud of.
That's some big time agility right there to keep your feet in both those instances.
When you see guys running back and forth between cones, maybe earlier in spring training, what are they doing? That's what they're doing. They're getting ready for that every once in a while, big moment.
Well, now he's in scoring position. An error charged to Olsen at first base. 0-2 the count on Elvis Andrus. Inside. Well, a run here would really be big. I mean, after giving up that 3-run homer, the big lead all but vanished. Down to a 1-run lead, and to answer back with a run, it would just be huge for this Rangers team right here. Buchter sets. Freezes.
We talked about this. He is one of the slowest working relievers in the game, and he's got Rougned Odor at second base and was giving him a really long stare as Rugi was kind of pushing it a little bit, as he should be. With that lead, you want every step you can possibly get. The idea of trying to score on a base hit, how many close plays we see. And Buchter didn't like what he saw, and so he continued to stare out at Odor, and finally Elvis called timeout.
I know people balk at the notion of a pitch clock, but goodness gracious. 1-2. Fouled away.
Yeah, nice play then, man. And not surprising that there's some action in the A's bullpen right now. I mentioned some of those struggles for Buchter against right-handed hitters, so he gets Elvis Andrus, but he probably will not get Adrian Beltre should Elvis get on.
Buchter struck out Chu, walked Odor. The error put Rugi at second. It's now 2-2 on Andrus. Stays 2-2. Well, today during batting practice, the Rangers really mixing it up a little bit. Had a DJ set up over near the Rangers on deck circle, had a big tent, and he was spinning tunes, I presume, maybe taking requests.
Conga line, maybe.
Chicken dance. Runner goes, and a bouncer third base foul. Boy, Odor had an enormous jump on that one. Not that you'd necessarily advocate a guy trying to steal third base with 2 outs.
You don't, unless you know that you absolutely can steal it. And as much as that, doesn't sound fair, you're going to take it. You have to be 100% sure that you're going to make it. Now, the reason you want to put yourself in that spot, because if there's a ball that's thrown, and then you never know, wild pitch, whatever it may be, but it's just one of those things you can't get thrown out in that spot. Absolutely that would be inexcusable. And it's it's not that easy for Odor to get a big lead with where Jed Lowry's standing.
Second baseman staying close enough anyway. Rugi, I mean, he was off and running and would have had it easily.
The Suns and Adele have about had it with how long Ryan Buchter is taking. I say he gets a letter from Rob Manfred in the mail and do that on some of the delay of game stuff. A little snail mail.
My guess is he has a stack of letters from Rob Manfred at this point. He might have one from tonight already delivered.
This is amazing.
Look at Odor. Whatever. Are we playing or what?
So listen, as much as it's a little unusual, I mean, I like it. I like that the Ranger fans are getting on Buchter right now, that he's thinking about it, and the idea that you can almost coax him into making some kind of mistake over the plate that Elvis Andrus could take advantage of.
The 2-2 at long last. Popped up near second base. Lowry will make the play. And we head to the 8th inning. Rangers leave a man at second base. It's a 5-4 game. Thanks, Dana. Rockies doing a little battle, interleague style with Houston, and Colorado came into play 6 games over 500 and only 2.5 back of the Dodgers out west, so lots to play for them too. Alex Claudio is come on in this 8th inning now, 3rd pitcher of the night for the Rangers. He'll get Stephen Piscotty to start things off in the 8th. Lefty's first pitch floats just off the outside corner for a ball. Ryan Rua in left field now. Calhoun out of the game.
There's the pitch arsenal for Alex Claudio. The fastball, which is a 2-seam fastball, a lot of movement on it. Changeup has been a very good pitch for him over the years, and you'll see that slider mostly to left-handed hitters. Every once in a while he'll throw one down and into a righty. There's the changeup at 71. The previous changeup was 69 miles per hour.
The 2-1 to Piscotty. And a little low. Ball 3. All right, so a 1-run lead. And Claudio entrusted with that lead in this big spot here. Idea for the Rangers, get back in the win column after a couple of tough games to start this series. There's a full count now to Piscotty. I understand somebody from the graphics department has just been laid off. Just kidding. Yeah, Piscotty has turned in some pretty big moments for this Oakland team, and he flips this one out into right field. That's a base hit. And Odor, a little kick of it, but doesn't end up factoring in. Piscotty is on to start the 8th, though.
Was that even a full swing? Take a look at this. There's a good look at the changeup, and Alex turns it over, and he had Piscotty fooled. You see it there. He didn't even complete that swing. That's amazing. That is just some bad luck for Alex Claudio.
So now Claudio going to work on Chapman. Remember last night it was Chapman and Canha who factored in big with some walks late in the game. Inside for a ball on Chapman. Four hits in the series already for the A's third baseman, and he bounces this one shortstop. Andrus with the flip to second. Odor on to first. 2. Double play. 6-4-3. That takes a little wind out of the Oakland sails.
That certainly helps. I mean, based on what has happened so far in this series, you get a little concerned when you start seeing base runners get on in a one-run game late. But Alex Claudio is able to induce the ground ball, and the Rangers do an excellent job once again of turning this double play. Perfect feed from Elvis Andrus to Rougned Odor over to Jurickson Profar.
So now Mark Canha with the bases empty, and he started after it but held off at strike 1. For 2 with the walk. Just like that in a hole. 0-2. So Claudio thus far doing his job. Corey Guerin pitched the 7th inning. Claudio here in the 8th. Trying to hold this Rangers 1-run lead. Here it comes from the lefty. 1-2. Canha's struggled a little bit lately. 8 for his last 42. Below the Mendoza line. The last 12 games now. And he swings and taps this one up the middle, and it gets through, base hit. So he is on. And the inning will continue. It's Canha's first hit of the night.
Yeah, just a well-placed ground ball. It's a good job by Alex Claudio to get Canha to hit the top half of the baseball. It's a 2-seam fastball. Look at the sink on it. You see it right there. And that's the result you want. It is a contact pitch and a ground ball pitch. And Alex got one. And it wasn't that hard hit either. Just right up the middle.
So the potential tying run on. Josh Phegley comes to the plate, and Phegley's numbers not very good this year. We've talked a little bit about it. but he has had some success against lefties. Claudio starts him off with strike one.
Yeah, is hitting .308 against him this year. I can't imagine he's seen too many 71-mile-an-hour changeups like that from Alex Claudio. And we've seen Alex use that pitch back-to-back, sometimes 3 or 4 times in a row. We'll see if he throws another one here to Fegman. Going inside instead. The old Robinson Trino set up inside, throw over to first move. We've seen that one. Calls for the two-seam fastball away. There it is. See Robbie keeping it simple one sign. Whenever you see the finger move, like sometimes you'll see, one is usually a fastball. Almost always, I'd say 98% of the time. But then when you see him circle it, like put that finger in a circle, that means he wants a two-seam fastball. I'm pretty sure Alex pretty much only throws the two-seamer anyway. That's just kind of the sign for sinker. See you there? Robbie going with the tangerine nail polish this evening.
1-2 the count. How much of a difference does that make when you're out on the mound?
Helps a ton.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Because what happens, the shadows get you. My eyes started to go on me just a little bit. They weren't bad at all. I got contacts, but I just wasn't very good with them. And so I went and got LASIK just because I was a little iffy on the signs. And even the eye doctor at the time was like, "You sure you want to get, like, your eyes aren't even that bad?" I was like, the signs are just a little iffy. I'm just going to go ahead and get it done. I was like a .25 or something. It's just hardly anything. But those little, I love when guys, whether they put tape or the nail polish, just you feel a lot better about it. You don't want to cross anybody up. So it's just a really smart idea. And it's probably just a tape, actually. I doubt it's actually with nail polish. They make the tape for the fingers that Robbie is using.
Oh yeah, they make these fancy stickers now the guys put on. Yep. 1-2 and a slow roller shortstop. Andrews will throw it across to first base. They get Fegley. It ends the inning. And so Claudio gets it done, puts up a goose egg in the 8th inning. Rangers will try to add to their 1-run lead in the bottom of the 8th.
Watching Adrian Beltre play baseball. A double there in the gap, having a little bit of fun here with Elvis Andrews. Elvis smiling, Adrian not so much right there. And then this play even made Adrian smile. And this RBI double right now is a big one for the Rangers as they lead by 1 when we drove in Rougned Odor. Now Adrian Beltre will lead things off here in the bottom of the 8th inning. As the Rangers still clinging to this 1-run lead.
Yeah, big half inning here. See if they could add to the lead. If they're to do that, they're going to do it against one of the best American League rookies this year. Lou Trevino has been fabulous for Oakland. The right-hander, 6'5", 240 pounds. A good fastball in there for a strike.
Yeah, this guy's got a live arm. There's the overall numbers. Game number 39, 1.36 ERA, 54 punch-outs in 46 and a third innings. The fastball averages 97 miles per hour. And this has been a pretty good story. I had a chance to talk with Lou a couple of weeks ago. He was a starter in the minor leagues, sat around 89, 90 miles an hour, wasn't really going anywhere. And he said he was watching another minor leaguer throw, a guy by the name of Ray Black, who throws triple-digit fastballs. Got his first call up with the San Francisco Giants this year. But he said he just noticed something in his mechanics. Separation from hip to shoulder.
It's a little pop-up here out into right field, and Piscotty is there for it. 1-1. Then a moment, our Ford probables for tomorrow. Trevor Cahill making the start for Oakland in the final game of the series. Bartolo Colon will have the ball for the Rangers. Bartolo has pitched well against Oakland in his career to the tune of a .334 run average.
Bob Melvin out there to check on Lou Trevino. But anyway, so we talked about this mechanical change just by observing another pitcher. Tried to implement that into his own game. Started seeing 94, 95. Now he's averaging 97, something he was able to see and work on. It was a really fascinating story, and to listen to him tell it into detail and just where he was in his career and how things were going. Wasn't overly optimistic about where things might end up for him, and now all of a sudden you just saw the numbers. Here he is, a 26-year-old rookie, former 11th rounder. Love his story. Out of Slippery Rock, University of Pennsylvania, same college that Matt Adams went to. So a couple of big leaguers that have come out of Slippery Rock.
The only two big leaguers to come out of Slippery Rock. Profile, the first pitch after that visit, pops up near first. 2 away.
It was just a couple of years ago. He was a starter in the minor league, just putting up very good numbers.
He currently leads Major League relievers with 7 wins, and he is 4th with his 1.36 ERA.
How are you going to cut Doc Marshall short out of Slippery Rock University, early 1900s?
No, he's still a few credits short.
Bob Shockey, Slippery Rock.
No.
Pitched from 1913 and 1927. He was on the 27 Yankees out of Slippery Rock.
Yeah, he didn't.
And you want to pretend he didn't even exist?
Didn't finish.
27 Yankees.
It's like Jose Leclerc may be asked to serve the closer's role here tonight. Gallo takes a strike, 1-1 the count. And Joey, walk and a base hit. He is struck out. Bouncer down the first baseline, foul. Rangers baseball presented by Shiner Sea Salt and Lime Summer Lager. CJ, let me amend my comment. The only 2 drafted out of Slippery Rock.
Let it slide.
Thank you. Gallo takes away, and it's 2-2. Trevino at 100 miles per hour there. That, you know, the story, the Trevino story is such a fascinating one.
Yeah.
But it almost seems like something maybe other guys would be wise to do, right? If you could look at somebody's mechanics and pick up something like that.
I mean, this is pretty spectacular. I don't think it's that simple. I think this is, I don't want to say a once in a lifetime thing, but to get that big of a jump in velocity, you know, it's pretty wild. But he just wasn't really using his lower half. Now, if you're starting from a place where your mechanics aren't there at all, and you're just not, you know, driving, I think that it's one of those things where part of you is wondering, you know, the coaches not pick up on some of this? Was there something in his mechanics that, you know, could have used improvement? Was he just kind of glossed over? Maybe he wasn't looked at as a prospect. That was part of it. The whole thing's pretty amazing. But it's not like, you know, it's like he was in a different organization. He's been with the A's throughout his career. Drafted in 2013.
Gallo's put a good at bat on him so far. This will be the 7th pitch. 2 outs, nobody on. Payoff on the way, and a swing and a miss. So Trevino gets his first and only strikeout tonight. Now to the 9th inning. Rangers up by a run, top of the order count. It looks like Leclerc may be asked to close it. Transparency by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer during the Ford Summer Sales event. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Shiner's Sea Salt and Lime Summer Lager. So here we go now, 9th inning. It's a 1-run game. Rangers 5, A's 4. Last chance for Oakland, and they send the top of the order in this 9th inning. Now, a couple of changes here. Ronald Guzman has come on and taken over at first base for Jurickson Profar. And Jose Leclerc had a couple of saves last year. 0 for 3 in save opportunities this year. And he is on to protect this 1-run lead, and his first pitch in there for a strike.
Oh, take a look at the numbers for Jose Leclerc. It has been a very good year for him. You see that opponent's batting average, a really nice ERA for him. And even though it's 0 for 3, it's kind of misleading, right? Where it's not where he had been put in to close out a game in the 9th inning. You can pick up a blown save anytime from the 6th inning on, that you enter the game in what would be deemed a save situation, and you allow the game to be tied, or more than that. But if the game becomes tied with you on the mound in a save situation, so you could be up by 1 in the 6th inning, come in with a runner at third, allow that guy to score, and that would be considered a blown save. But I believe this is his first real opportunity to close out a game. That's because Kela last night, 40 pitches for him, and he took on a pretty tough task. Came into the 8th inning with bases loaded, right? If I'm not mistaken, bases loaded when he came in yesterday.
Yeah, I believe so, and then allowed the hit. Scored a couple. but then gave up the home run in the 9th inning on the first pitch of the 9th inning that tied the game. This one out to right field. Gallo is there, and Simeon retired for out number 1. Now, Kella has been so good, we haven't had to give any thought this year to any other options or ideas. That's been a blessing. But from a guy who doesn't have to manage a team, I give no pause to putting Leclerc in this spot. Just the way he has thrown this year, the confidence with which he's throwing the ball.
I would agree.
So Martini takes ball 1.
He has looked really comfortable this year. Locked in. He's been excellent with runners inherited when he's coming in the middle of innings. It's been a good step forward for Jose Leclerc into becoming a dominant reliever in this league. And I mentioned this last night. I think even a little bit more room for growth. But regardless, it's been a great year.
2-0 pitch, and he finds the bottom of the strike zone at 96 miles per hour.
Good 2-0 pitch here right at the bottom of the zone. Good job by Robinson Chirinos too to present that well. See him come up from the bottom. Just a little bit of movement, but not too much.
Nope. Way inside, it's 3-1. You don't want to put the potential tying run on. Jed Lowry, the men in the on deck circle. If one runner reaches, then that would assure Chris Davis would get to the plate. And there is Martini is on, so he is on via the walk. And unless you get a double play out of Lowry here, and that is a possibility, then Davis will bat this inning. Martini's lifted, and the A's will use a pinch runner here. Dustin Fowler. So Lowry has reached every time he has come up today. He's walked 3 times and he's singled back in the 3rd. Clark with a long pause. Lowry right through it for strike 1. 96 miles per hour.
So for Jose Leclerc, a lot of strikeouts this year, but he's not really a ground ball pitcher. Just a 35% ground ball rate. He's gotten just 1 ground ball double play so far this season. Jed Lowry's hit into just 3. So we're going to beat the odds right here. Jose Leclerc's going to get Jed Lowry hitting a ground ball double play, get this game over with, and keep Chris Davis on deck.
Oh, 0-2. Rangers led 5-1 until the 7th inning when Davis blasted a 3-run homer. Make it a 1-run game. But Claudio put up a 0 in the 8th. Leclerc got it out. Walked Martini. Now a chance to put Lowry away right here. The 0-2. Way inside.
Nice pick by Robinson Chirinos, who was set up way outside. They wanted that pitch away and maybe just off the corner. And there's that cut changeup slide. Look where Robinson Chirinos was and how far over he had to come to pick this ball. That's tremendous. You never know exactly how that ball is going to bounce, especially around home plate. Of course, it's dug up from the hitters being there all night and kind of digging in. You're not exactly sure where it's going to hit. It's not going to be an even bounce every time. You really have to rely on your hands, and they were fantastic. Coach going to throw over here.
Well, Martin Perez had the start tonight. Did a great job. 6 innings. Run on 7 hits. Walked 3. Struck out 4. And he had to bear down in the 5th. Get out of a bases loaded spot. Leclerc going to have to come up with some pitches here now too, with Fowler, the pinch runner, down at first. And now a little pause. Trinos goes out for a mound visit. Now Lowry's kind of an interesting guy. I mean, he's a tough out. Veteran hitter, both sides of the plate. Look at the A's possibility of getting deeper and deeper into the season. He's a big piece of it, but he strikes out right here. Leclerc with a huge K, 2 away.
Great job by Jose Leclerc, and talked about how clutch he has been this season. Well, this is a really clutch pitch that he makes right here. Good movement below the zone. There's the changeup that he doesn't cut, but actually just goes straight down. If anything, trying to turn that over a little bit. It's 2 different looks at the Jose Leclerc changeup. That one came in a little bit firmer as well at 90 miles an hour. And so now one last big out here for Leclerc.
Got a tough customer in Chris Davis. 0-1.
So there's the cut changeup, right? You see it there, and that was at 82 miles per hour. And that one acts a little bit more like a slider. Now we'll see if he does what Corey Guerin tried to do. Corey Guerin wanted to throw an 0-1 after he threw a slider away. It missed over the plate. That's where he got himself into trouble. You gotta make sure you keep this pitch away, maybe even just off the plate. There it is. Good pitch.
1-1.
It's a good miss. I think the idea of staying out there a little bit longer. Always try to finish late, but there is kind of that old adage in baseball that you don't want to finish a game in. Meaning you don't want to give a guy an opportunity to pull a ball out of the ballpark. There's the call for the changeup. They're going to go in.
Two and one.
Chris Davis is a guy that has that pull power swing. Opens up a little bit. He's incredibly strong. If you're going to go in, you've got to be precise with your location. In off the plate's not bad either. We'll see what Robinson wants to do. It's been 3 straight changeups, the ones that act like a slider, though. See, there's the, that's more of the slider call there. That's a true slider he wants away.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Boy, Davis taking some big hacks.
He doesn't get cheated, and that's why hitting your spots is so important. You see the fingers on the side. Change-up grip. So Jose's got to make sure he doesn't get caught up in the emotion of the moment. Stay in control. If he hits the spot, he'll be in good shape.
1 strike away. Follow the man at first. Here it comes. And a fly ball. Right field. Gallo is back. It is gone. Oh my. It just can't be that easy. Chris Davis with another home run against the Rangers. 6-5 Oakland. My goodness.
They decided to go fastball. There it is. And Robinson Trinos wanted it down and away. It got elevated a little bit, but it was still outside. And I mentioned how strong Chris Davis is. And to go upper deck opposite field is a good example of the great strength that he has.
Now Matt Olson. Chris Davis. 27 home runs now on the year. 25 in his career against the Rangers. An absolute menace. 2-0. Well, this game not over. Rangers down by a run. Blake Treinen had been loosening up in their bullpen just in case Davis would somehow come up with a little bit of late inning magic, and he did. 3-1.
He's got 5 RBIs tonight, 5 of the 6. I'm stunned, man. I gotta be honest with you.
It's
you feel like law of averages. Like, oh, of course he's not going to hit a home run. Even if you make a mistake, what are the odds of him really hitting a home run?
Popped up third base side. Beltre has room. Now the Rangers could try to fashion a comeback in the bottom of the 9th inning. Robinson Chirinos hit a 3-run homer in the 2nd inning. He'll lead things off in the 9th for the Rangers, down by a run. To the bottom of the 9th inning. So Rangers still have a shot. Couple of changes for Oakland. Mark Canha has slid over to left field from center. Dustin Fowler stays in the game now and is the captain of the outfield out there in center. Blake Treinen trying to lock this one down all of a sudden for Oakland.
Here are the numbers for Treinen this year. 25 of 29 in his save opportunities, but just a tremendous ERA. 65 strikeouts for him in 51 innings. And certainly we expect the Rangers to come back. If they were to not mount that comeback, Trevino would be in line for the win. It'd be his 8th win of the season out of the bullpen. Now, reliever wins don't tell you much of anything except that you're in the right place at the right time. But 8 wins potentially here. He already is tied for the league lead with David Robertson, who's got 10 decisions, by the way. He's 7-3, David Robertson. 44 games that he's pitched. Ironically enough, Jeurys Familia, who's now a member of the Oakland A's, is tied for 2nd with 6 wins.
Well, Chirinos hoping to get things started for the Rangers in this 9th inning. Had a big home run in the 2nd. 1 for 3 tonight. Trinan's the 5th reliever for Oakland. 1-2.
That is 99 miles an hour, and it's got unbelievable movement on it. This guy's got a live arm. You saw the numbers there, and you really start digging in and looking at this bullpen, and one that just got better with the addition of Familia. But even beforehand, we just took you through Trevino, who sits at 97.4 miles an hour on average. Trinan the same thing. Familia sits at 96. It's a power bullpen. Even Wendelken's got the plus arm. Take a look at this pitch here. Trinan, after trying to protect against 99, then you get a 90-mile-an-hour breaking. It's a slider that looks like a curveball. I mean, it's slider speed. Nothing had curveball break on it.
So Torino strikeout. Ryan Rua, his first at bat tonight. Replaced Willie Calhoun defensively, and he takes 99 on the corner for strike one. And Chris Davis, all this extreme heat this week here in Texas, you feel like it's a guy who could use a day off, for crying out loud.
That's a great idea.
He's had a great month this week. That goes to 1-1.
And here's the thing, as a Ranger fan, you'd like to dislike him. He's a really nice guy. Heard a very nice story about him today from Kelly Gavin, the team photographer, about when Adrian Beltre hit a home run. Was it a walk-off? Did she say?
Yeah.
A few years ago. Ball came bouncing back to him. He kept it. Sent it over to Adrian. Thought maybe he'd want to have it as a walk-off home run, as a memento. And so Kelly brought it over and gave it to Adrian. Next day, there was an Adrian Beltre signed bat in Davis's locker, and he's like, "Wow, I can't believe he did that for me." Like, just, you know, just a nice guy. But knock it off, man. We've had enough.
It's his joining the A's 3 years ago. 25 home runs. 7 here. There's a strikeout looking Rua. Turn back-to-back Ks to start the last of the ninth. This is a stunner tonight.
Four-seam fastball grip. It's just high velocity painted on the corner. Tough for Ryan Rua, who comes in as a defensive replacement. That's the at-bat that he gets. That one actually touched 100. Thanks. 100 on the corner. I mean, if you're going to throw that hard, you should at least leave it in the middle of the
Throw
plate.
it right over the middle.
Give the guys a chance.
Challenge a guy, for crying out loud. Now Carlos Tocci now. In his hands, he had a base hit in the 5th inning. Scored a run, part of that 2-run 5th. At the end of that inning, the Rangers led 5-1. And all of a sudden now, 3 runs in the 7th, 2 runs in the 9th. It's the A's who have the lead. Tocci takes a strike, 1-1. Oakland starter Edwin Jackson couldn't get through the 5th inning. Went 4 1/3. Since then, Petit, Hatcher, Butcher, Trevino, now Trinan, and he's 1 strike away. 1-2 the count. Meanwhile, Martin Perez made a great start for the Rangers. Got him into the 7th inning. Cody Guerin gave up a big 3-run homer in the 7th inning. Claudio a scoreless 8th. Leclerc then gave up a 2-out, 2-strike home run. It put Oakland in front, and now a strikeout of Tocci ends it. Trinan carves up the Rangers in the bottom of the 9th. 1-2-3, and Oakland has made it 3 in a row in this series. Unbelievable. Lots to think about tonight for the Rangers. Dana Larson and Tom Grieve have all the player reaction and analysis back in the studio after this one. For CJ Nikowski, Emily Jones, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Raymond, inviting you to stay with us. Still much more to discuss after this one, and we'll have more in just a moment.